Hello and welcome to the Pushing the Pay podcast. We have been MIA for weeks now. This wasn't planned. Life happened. Life happened for the best, to be honest. A lot of good things have happened in all of us lives and everything. So we're grateful for that. But we're back. Myself, Elias, and we have a special guest today. Daye has been on my podcast before, but he's never been on the Pushing the Pace podcast. So Daye, welcome, bro.
I'm super excited to be here, guys. I wanted to do this for forever. Been begging you guys, let's do it. We're finally able to do it. I'm super excited.
Nah.
So
We Elias, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Almost done the semester. The break was not intentional. I can't believe the last podcast we talked about Jason Tatum forever. That felt like a million bajillion years ago, bro.
Bro.
It's just been so busy, school and everything, but I'm so excited for these playoffs.
Hey man.
And I think that we have a couple series that I hope that it goes to 7, and I am just very excited for tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday to watch NBA all day
Yes, sir.
and the playoffs. I'm very excited.
The last time we spoke, I was still a master's student. Now I'm done with my master's. Now I have a full-time job, which I didn't have at that time.
There
A
we
lot
go.
has changed. I mean, I'm 3 hours away from where I used to be in Hamilton. I'm in Eastern Standard Time. Elias is in Mountain Standard Time, and that is all the way in Munich, which is crazy. So life is definitely lifing, and what can
Yep.
we say? Well, it's for good. So first off, before we go into playoff series, we are going to run through our awards for the year. We're going to look at. We're not really going to argue on this and all. Like, we're not going to really give so much discussion about this because there are playoff series to go to talk about. We're going to go through the MVP. We're going to go to DPOY, MIP, Six Man of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. Daye and Elias are going to give their All NBA teams and All Defensive teams. I am not going to do that because I didn't study enough for that. I've not had time to do that, honestly. So yeah. We're just going to go through. So Daye, let's start with you as you're our guest. MVP. 1, 2, 3.
Man, this has been such a fun, in quotation marks, race. It's been done to death now. In terms of, there's two guys who are a clear standout in terms of what they bring to the table, what they are to their teams, the talent they are to the players. This was a really hard one for me, even though there is precedent in terms of who should win this award. I'm going with Shea. 65 wins is incredible in any context whatsoever. I was looking earlier in terms of the amount of teams that do win 65 games because of something I was doing with All NBA that we'll get to later.
Yeah.
They
Not
won
enough teams.
68.
68. Oh, wow, you see,
Yeah, 68.
even better, 68
Yeah.
games. This is an all-time team. No matter how you square it, the defense was incredible. To the point that Shea was making a serious case as DPOY, and I was not a serious case, but the fact that it was a conversation is ridiculous to begin with. But I won't spend any more time on it. Shea, MVP. I got Jokic second and Giannis third. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Elias.
I I just agree. I put Shea number 1 as well. I think he has just been the most constant best player in the league for the entire season. He had 70 games scoring 20 points in every single game. I believe when you look at total points in the season, he's like number 1, and then he's like number 3 or 4 if you only count his first 3 quarters in every single game, because him and his team finish off their opponents so quickly and so easily. Like, I don't really end up watching that much OKC, especially when it's against teams that are like mid or bad, because it's just like, well, Shea already has 20 points at halftime and they're already beating them by like 10, 15 points. He did this without Hardenstein for quite a bit of the year, without Chet Holmgren for a lot of the year, and without Jalen Williams for part of the year as well. So, I mean, yeah, he has a great team. It is a stacked team, but the offense starts with Shea, really. And I think that he just has had one of the best guard seasons in a while. Jokic, obviously, it's no real like real negative you can throw to either of these guys. Like, they are neck and neck, to be honest. I think if you want to put the Jokic defense conversation there, that's definitely valid. But offensively, he has just been. It's crazy. I think we talked about this on the last pod where we almost give these MVPs too early. Like, we gave Jokic his MVP too early, and he's had multiple years that are just better than his first MVP season, and now this one is like one of his best. And he might not win. And then Giannis, I got third. He's been. It's unfortunate. I feel like he could, and he should probably win another one because of how good he's been. But it's just you're in a league with Shea and Jokic. It's hard to argue against them.
Yeah. I hate to be the contrarian and
no.
person that goes.
Oh,
you
no.
know I was gonna do this.
Oh no.
Someone had to.
And since this is my this is my awards. I'm giving a co-MVP. Co-MVP.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm giving a co-MVP to Shea and Jokic. I agree with every single thing you guys said about Shea. It starts and ends with him. They don't get to 68 wins without him. He has an incredible young roster and everything, but they are unprecedented levels of being this great. And I just have a belief that it will be a disservice for Jokic not to win an MVP having this kind of season. He's averaged a triple-double. Let's just grasp that.
Basically 30 points, yeah.
Pretty much leading in 4 categories, top 3 or top 5, I believe. No one in NBA history has ever been top 10 in 3 categories. If you look at the point differential when he's off the floor, it's the greatest in NBA. That team is probably one of the worst teams in the league without that. So I'm giving Cole MVP. And unfortunately to Giannis, I just feel it's so sad, but these past 3 seasons has been so forgotten about him. Like, we don't speak about him. The media doesn't talk about him.
Yeah.
And it's I know he doesn't care because Giannis is Giannis, and honestly, he's just a goof and everything. But man, what 3 seasons he's had, and it's been incredible because no one has also done the things he's done this last 3 seasons. And yeah, so it's going to be Shea and Jokic have my co-MVP. No has there been ever co-MVP in NBA history? No, I don't think so, right?
I don't think so, no.
Clutching my fingers that this happens. I need both of them to win the MVP. And yeah, I have no arguments against both of them. Okay, so I'm going to start our defensive player of the year. I think this one was hard for me. Unlike people who was trying to do the whole Draymond thing at the last month, please, I kind of ignored that conversation started to piss me off and irritate me because I was like, this is very unserious. So I give even Mobley my number 1 defensive player of the year. I give Mobley my number 1 defensive player of the year. I think just defensively what he's done to that team, his ability to play the 4 and 5. I gave it to him. I don't feel there's been it's so weird. I don't feel it's been a defensive player of the year race that has been like I've been so amazed by every one of the top 3 guys. Yeah. Like, they've had great seasons where I think it's just been like, yeah, I think you're the defensive player of the year. And that's literally how I feel about it. For number 2, I'm giving Lu Dort. And I think it's high time Lu Dort gets on an All-NBA team. It's ridiculous that this is going to be the first year he gets on an All-NBA defensive team. I don't know what the stats are. I don't care what. Lu Dort has been an All-NBA defender. As far as I'm concerned, he's his 2nd and 3rd year in the league. Like, literally. And the fact that he's never been a 1 means everyone needs to pretty much rehash whatever they do in terms of I don't care about the stats. Let me just put it. I know what my eyes tell me when it comes to Lu Dort. And I'm sure the numbers prove it when it comes to Lu Dort. So I would say Lu Dort is my number 3. And number 3 for me is Dyson Daniels. And I think I've loved everything this boy is as a defender and everything. So yeah, that's my top 3 for defensive player of the year. Elias.
Okay. I got Mobley as well as number 1. He had just solid defensively for one of the best teams in the league for the whole year. Very versatile, can guard people on the perimeter, even move his hips very well, but still guards the rim very well as well. That Draymond conversation, when I saw all that stuff like in the media and whatever, I was like, okay, what's this about? But he has been one of the best defenders, even if he was puffing his chest on TV to try and get votes. He has been one of the best defenders. I have a number 2, and the Warriors, since they got Butler, have been a really great defensive team. And then number 3, I got Amen Thompson, a guy who I love. I love so much, and I'm very, very excited to talk more about him and Thompson when we get to the Warriors Rockets series.
Yeah.
But I have no quarrels against Lou Dort. I think he's an amazing first team all defense guy as well. And I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Daye.
You guys have me like switching up my list on case. You're like making the case to me. I'm like changing everything
We
around.
don't we don't even have enough time to make the. I could spend more time on each of them, but we don't have time
Yeah.
for that. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
I'm not gonna change anything in terms of who I think is good. You guys are right. It's Mobley. Um, just to throw out the stats there, defensive rating of the Cavs was a 110.8 when he was on the court. That number grew to 115.8 when he stepped off the court. That 110.8 was sort of ranked amongst the top five defenses in the NBA at any point in time. He challenged the most twos and threes on the Cavs throughout the season. So not only is he doing it interior, he's doing it on the perimeter as well. And it's been a really incredible season for him. There was like a period of time where I think he slowed off, but I think that's
Yeah.
just to be expected. The Cavs are easily the best team in the East at times.
Yeah.
So that's understandable. Number two, who I just added in the list as you guys were talking, Lou Dort. Um, that OKC defense is ridiculous, and he spearheads it. It's pretty insane. Watching some of the scores that they pretty put up other teams too. The Dortmund Chamber is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Take your best perimeter guy, and if you can get past the Dort, have fun. If you can't, I'm sorry, there's not much you can do about it. And then number three, and the front runner for I felt until maybe about Christmas, Dyson Daniels has just been incredible.
It's been
No.
The stuff he does with deflections, steals,
He has 450 deflections basically this year.
The kid is
like 100
awesome.
plus more than anybody else.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Three steals a game average, ridiculous.
I don't even know. You can't even say words for it. Like you watch that guy play defense, and it's like, when it's like watching a guy playing offense on defense. It's just he's so bought in. He cares so much, and I don't think that Hawks team would have been nearly as good as it would have been. Had he not been
the pickup that they got for him. I mean, they basically got what they wanted DeJounte Murray to be, but way younger and potential to be a better offensive player. Even let's just go straight into MIP. Where I got Dyson Daniels as my number one. I think we all do. I mean, this is a guy who like when I made my video for the draft class when he was coming into, I forgot what year that was, but I didn't know anything about the draft. I read like one article and I was just like looking at guys and I was like, you know what? I like Dyson Daniels. I like the prospect of this big point guard, defensive orientated guy. Didn't really get much opportunity with the Pelicans. I mean, he did, but he just didn't, they didn't play that well. And I was just like completely in shock that obviously he got more opportunity with the Hawks, but just the fact that he defensively just blew up like so much for this team, was very clearly their best perimeter defender, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, steals galore. I mean, first guy since in a long time with 3+ steals.
Yeah, Allen Iverson, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like deflections and I mean he's just been improved so much offensively as well. Like that was a question with him, and I think he showed good potential there as well, just to grow. And then number two, I got Zubac, because I think Zubac has been really, 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 really good for the Clippers this year. A potential all NBA guy, and he's just been really, really good defensively and offensively, just playing his game, his hook shots, whatnot. And my third guy, I put Cade because I couldn't think of somebody else. And he has improved a lot, even though I don't like the prospect of him winning this award. I hope he doesn't win the award because we all expect that a number one overall pick is going to improve. Yep. But he has improved a lot since last season as well with the whole team in general.
Yeah. Daye.
I'm not gonna same thing in terms of who's won the MIP. Still Dyson Daniels. I'm just gonna run through the numbers a bit quickly here. 9 more points. Doubled his steals number. Almost doubled his blocks number. 2.7 assists goes up to 4.7, 3.9 rebounds goes up to 5.9. Just a guy who's just, even doubled his shot attempts. Like, of course, he gets a bigger role on the team, so that's gonna happen. But across the board, this guy got better. He is probably one of the best defenders in the league. Forget even amongst guards, wings, forwards. He's just incredible. Steals champion, just insane player. Second place for me was Cade. Elias has already said it. This is a guy that we expect to have gotten better, but for him to have taken the leap with that team, Sammy's not too happy about that. But for him to have taken that leap with that team, for that team to have gotten better, what if I could just say the MIP is the Detroit Pistons? Let's just do that. The whole team,
Sure.
team is just the most improved player.
Yeah.
And then third place, I'm going with Christian Braun. Insane what he has become for the Nuggets. To have lost KCP in that spot and for him to just almost naturally step into that role, be the defender he is, still bring stuff on the offensive side. That's just a great player. Definitely the guy I'd pick for MIP number 3.
Okay, for me, as I said, I don't know what this award is for. For my opinion, if this guy doesn't win MIP, they need to toss the award from the NBA. Like, just throw the award away. But again, it's Dyson Daniels. Again, if everyone remembers, when that trade happened with the Pelicans and Atlanta, he was just another person. He was like, it's like he was just added into the books. When they just close the books. They're just trying to make this trade work. He was just tossed in there. No one cared about Dyson Daniels. And if I tell you he's a defensive player of the year candidate, even though he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, compared to what people thought about him, that is the MIP. It's not even close, in my opinion. Like, it's kind of close with another guy, but it's not close still for me. I remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I remember tweeting, I was like, oh, someone was asking like about who Luka defenders are in the league. And I was like, oh, Ben Simmons, Wiggins, and Dyson Daniels. This was when he was getting 10, 12 minutes on the Pelicans. And every time I watched his possessions against Luka, I was like, my guy ain't comfortable with this at all. Like, I could see the way he played defense on Luka. And I was like, oh, this is a Luka defender. And I've seen it so many times. Like, he's that great defensively. So yeah, MIP is Dyson Daniels. Number 2 is Christian Brun. We've gotten to a time where Christian Brun fast break is almost as like, it's almost like a sure banker, like when Giannis was like LeBron, like Christian Brun's fast break is something to behold now. And I've been in love with him since he stepped into the league. The amount of challenges he takes as a player, the amount of roles that he's being put into as a young player. The shooting is not going to be perfect yet. It's still up and down, but I just love everything he is as a player, the smarts and everything. He's gotten better. Christian Brun is definitely second for me. And number 3 is Zubac. Like, as you guys said, he's had an amazing season. This dude is awesome. This dude is awesome. Post ups, fade away, big boy, but his chemistry with James Harden is pretty good. He's scoring in different ways also and all. And his ability to dominate, his ability to not be one of those centers where they get you off the floor. Like, Zubac is on the floor in important moments, which isn't said a lot about guys that are his size, right? Like his size. So I'll say, yeah, Zubac is for me. I
want to add one person who I wish. Unfortunately, my personal goat, Norman Powell, was injured too much of the season. But I really wanted him to win this award because I just thought that his improvement on offense and just, he saw the opportunity and he took it. And unfortunately, he didn't get the 65 games.
Yeah. For Sixth Man of the Year for me, number 1, I think it's kind of easy. For me, it's Malik Beasley. Like, what Beasley did for Detroit Pistons this year was just insane. I think there were too many games where it's tittering and this dude just comes, create separation from them. I think he led the league. He was second in the league to Ant. I think just 2 threes, right? In 3-pointers and everything.
One. I think it was one.
Oh, one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Malik Beasley. Like, it's also the expectation of what you do for your team, especially with the fact that there was no expectation for the Pistons. And this guy came in and as a bench player, in terms of microwave scorer and everything, for me, he showed up. I know he probably doesn't do any other thing and stuff, but I feel for the role he was needed, he did that for the Pistons. Number two is Peyton Pritchard. Just like the Draymond thing, I kind of find it annoying that almost at the start of the season, people just wanted to give him the award immediately and stuff like that. Like, oh, Peyton Pritchard is the sixth man of the year. He definitely tailed off the last 2 months to 3 months and stuff. But I think that bench scoring and everything is good. And number three is Naz Reid. For me, he still was Naz Reid. Like he still was Naz Reid. He's still pretty much the same. This almost the same production with what he did for the Wolves last year, and he won. I think he won sixth man of the year last year, right? Naz Reid won that, right? Yeah. And I feel Naz Reid was still Naz Reid, so that's my number three. Daye.
So I'm actually gonna zag here, and I'm gonna actually give Peyton Pritchard the award. There isn't a guard in the league who's just would you like? I would just love to have Peyton Pritchard's job. Like, I get to jack up threes. I get to take up half court shots. I'm a bench guy. I get to average 15, 4, and 3 off the bench. I just think that team, I would say relies on him, but there's so much he does for them in terms of scoring. He averaged 40% from 3 on about 7 attempts a game, so that they rely on him to be like a shooter on a night-to-night basis. And, he's quietly taking an uptick in his points. He was averaging 9.6 last season. He's up to 14.3 this year. I just think that that's a guy that's just insane. I know what you mean in terms of they already anointed him at the start of the season, but I just think that that's just an insane player in terms of what he does for that team.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does he have a shimmy? He doesn't. What can I say? He doesn't.
Shimmy of the Year award definitely does not go Peyton Pritchard. But yeah,
I'm messing around. Yeah.
No. So yeah, so that's for me is where I would go on that. Second place, I still agree with you. Malik Beasley has had an insane season. The 3-point shooting thing has been legit. That team has relied on him at many points in times just for pure scoring. So definitely would love to have that guy on your team. And then lastly is a guy that I don't know if he's actually going to get mentioned by Elias because Samuel didn't. I'm going with Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome's had a pretty insane season.
I think he has some minutes thing that he can't get it
or
something like that.
Because
I heard a lot of people talk about that.
Actually, yeah.
I think you have to play 20 minutes a game and
20 minutes,
19.9.
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah. That's exactly what my all defense guy. I put him on anyway because he also has a minutes thing.
That's crazy.
I would say every time I didn't used to. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't watch a lot of Cavs games at the start of the season because it's why am I turning up my TV at 7 p.m. to start watching Cavs games against the Hawks and all these guys? But one of the things I will say that every time I'll just check the box score, Ty Jerome 6 out of 6. Ty Jerome 5 out of 7, 15 point. Ty Jerome, he's insane. And honestly, that's my number 3. Get this guy out my list right now. Get Naz Reid off my list right now.
More insanely, I believe he's hitting unrestricted free agency this summer. The Cavs don't have a chance of bringing him back. It's not even. It doesn't matter what the number is, unless he's really, really wants to stay with them. I think
he needs to go get his money.
Go get your money.
He didn't play at all last year because he was injured. Yeah. So now with the season he's had, he definitely needs to get his bag.
He is going to get it back.
Yeah, I agree. I got Beasley number 1, I think, and I got Pritchard number 2. Number 3, I didn't get a guy, but I think if Ty Jerome could, I would definitely put him there. But I just think Beasley, outside of K's just improvement, I think the biggest thing that the Pistons needed were veteran players and 3-point shooting. And you got Michael Beasley in free agency for basically nothing, and he goes and hits 300 plus threes for you. And I just think his 3-point shooting has been so vital to a team that was terrible last year with 3-point shooting and just needed somebody that K could pass to, because obviously if not, the defense would just collapse onto him. And yeah, just his 3-point percentage and efficiency and all that this season has been very impressive.
Yeah.
Pritchard, though, I think is also a very worthy candidate. So yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Rookie of the Year, Daye, let's start with you.
So this is another award that on the fly I just changed because the guy I wanted to go with, I just can't get there. So for me, the guy I'm going with is actually Zachary Ricochet. Um, Zachary Ricochet
Okay.
has been insane since the All-Star break. He's averaging 14.6 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, and 1.2 assists. More importantly, it's the three-point shooting that's been insane. He's averaging 40.7% on 5.4 attempts. But what to me is the most interesting about Ricochet's game is that all of this work, I would say about 90% of his scoring comes off ball. He's a great cutter, great in transition, catch and shoot. He doesn't require the ball in his hands in order to score. And I think that that's just something that is insanely scary because if it scales up and he figures out how to be a ball handler, we're talking about like a 20, 25 point a game scorer. I think that this has been a lot of criticism for him at the draft and a lot of the early season. I think that he's kind of quelled those concerns, and he's kind of I think he deserves to win this award. The guy who I couldn't get all the way there with was Stefan Castle. Castle has probably been the best rookie all season. My thing with him has just been that they did feel like it felt like he got a lot more responsibility after when we went down. And of course, he's still a rookie, but it just wasn't clean in the way I think it was with Ricochet down that stretch. Obviously, Castle has um, the season. He basically played well better over the course of the season. I think seeing Ricochet being that good and being that vital to that team is what separates him from me in terms of that award. And then third place is really simple. Jalen Wells, the shooting he gave the Grizzlies, the defense he gave the Grizzlies, just an insane player. That team has been drafting great players for the past like 5, 6 years, and he's faced into that category. I really hope he gets well next season and he continue to give them that contribution. So yeah, that's my top three.
Elias.
Hey man, you did what I was not brave enough to do. Put Ricochet at number one. I put him at number two, but I really, honestly, I would put him at number one over Castle because I've just been super impressed with the off-ball work and the fact that that's like a skill that not a lot of rookies have. Like that's something that you really gotta play reps in the NBA to know where your teammates and where you have to be and when you can cut and how defenses can guard you or don't guard you and how you can take advantage of that. And the fact that he's been doing that so well already, is 3-point shooting as well has been really good. So actually, I'm going to switch him to number one since you were brave enough to do it. I'll join you. I'll put
Let's
Castle
do
as
it.
number two. I know Castle has been good. His efficiency not as good, but I mean this is a Spurs team that hasn't really played for anything for a month and a bit now since Wemby went out. And then I had Edie, but I just remember that Wells existed, so I put him at number three instead. Because I forgot for a second that he was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my top three.
I'm going to Zag. And since everyone is changing their stuff, people made great arguments here, and that's why it's even making me think about my list again. I am going Jalen Wells number one, and I feel I am going Jalen Wells as the rookie of the year, and I feel it's one big thing for me. None of these guys, Ricochet, Stephen Castle, had the type of responsibility this dude had to guard perimeter, the best perimeter guys on every single team. And this is you having that role as a rookie, most likely exposes you so much that you don't see minutes in the NBA for your first season again. Like people get burned for having that kind of role in their first years. And for me, even there were times where guys were scoring him and everything, he passed the test. Like he passed the test most times. It's not about like a good example was Scottie Pippen Jr. against Golden State. I was like, I don't care. Steph had 37. That dude defended amazingly well. And that's how I feel about Jalen Wells. Like I feel the responsibility the Memphis had for him straight throughout the whole season is none, especially for a team that was also a winning team. This was a team over 10 games over 500. We're also like top 3 or top 4 in the West for a good chunk of time. I think Jalen Wells is the rookie of the year. None of these guys had the responsibility he had. For number 2, I'm going Zachary Ricochet for number 2, and I'm going Stephen Castle for number 3.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. Elias, do you want to start us with our clutch player of the year? Which is kind of a tough one, to be honest.
Honestly, I didn't even know. I don't have any of the stats or anything. I just have two players. I got Jokic and Brunson. I don't even know. They're one or two. I don't really care,
Yeah.
to be honest, too much about this
Yeah.
award.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of just like, you know, yeah, you hit some shots in the clutch, and now here's an award for the whole season. I don't know. It's not super interesting to me.
Yeah. Daye.
Same thing. Brunson, Jokic, Trae Young. The faster we can get out of this award, the better. It's a pointless award that doesn't award anything. I don't actually know why. I blame The Last Dance for this. It's a whole other. We talk about this a whole other thing. It's just a useless award. I don't care for it. Brunson, Jokic, Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my top.
I had Brunson, Jokic, LeBron because I think LeBron had a lot of good clutch games this year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can move on. Important one. Coach of the year.
I really like the coach of the year. There's
I
a
love
lot
coach of
of
the year.
good coaches.
Yep.
I'm gonna start off with number one, Mr. JB Bickerstaff for the Pistons. I think that going into a season after the most disaster hell-bent season ever in the history of life that the Pistons had last year, and you're a new coach, and I think it's like they were so low with oh my god, I forgot their last coach's name.
Monty Williams.
Yeah, they were so low with
Yeah.
Monty Williams. They were so under the ground that JB Bickerstaff not only brought them above ground, but brought them breathing, and like they're in the air now. And I just think he's like just not fixed his team, but just has really done well with his team defensively as well, put in a culture for them to play hard. Pistons, Detroit basketball, like they play hard, and I think he's just been a great coach for them. My number two, I got Ime Udoka. I have to reward the Houston's improvement, which is, I think, like, we're just like, oh yeah, Houston's a good team, but no, like, they really ended up second in the West. And obviously, like, it's like they are 52 and then everybody else is 50 wins, but they weathered the storm. They improved internally a lot. And I think, as well, a great defensive coach. He called Steph Curry is a crying baby in their last game, whatever. I just love that animosity, and I think that he's a great coach. And then number three, I got Kenny Atkinson for the Cavs because they've just been really, really good this season.
Yeah. Daye.
This was a hard one for me, which is surprising because for part of the year I thought there was a front runner, a clear front runner, and I still think I'm going to go with him. I'm going with Kenny Atkinson. I remember reading an article last year with the Cavs where they were talking about blowing it up, in terms of getting Garland off the team. What were they going to do with Jared Allen? Was it Mobley and Mitchell for the future? Were they going to trade Mitchell? Atkinson came in and said, like, fuck all that. It doesn't matter. We're a 68 win team. We're not a 68 win team, a 64 win team. One of the best teams at home. When you watch them play, I don't know if there's a team that's the Thunder know how to do this, but there's a way the Cavs do it that's almost a little more methodical, just like taking your heart. Especially, I remember that game they played against Boston, where it felt like Boston had this massive lead, and they just chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped, and they won that game. That is what coaching looks like. He's been so instrumental in getting that team to be one of the best in the NBA, and I really have to award that. Number two is going to JB Bickerstaff. I completely agree with everything with that. He has brought that team back from the dead. Kane has gotten better, Beasley's gotten better, Durham's gotten better. So that team is it's good. They're fun to watch. They defend hard, and he's bringing all the right things out of them. And then lastly, this was hard because I really wanted to go Donahue here because OKC wins 68 games. I would like to award their coach, but Elias made such a good point on Udoka, who was initially going to be my number three, and then I switched, and I'm switching back again. Houston won 52 games, was second best in the West. He is just an incredible coach. He gets guys in, makes guys defend. He made Jalen Green like an above average defender, which in itself should probably just win you the award. So definitely gonna go with Udoka number three. It's been a really fun year for coaches.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just JB Bickerstaff. Where Detroit's were, and what they were as a team to get to a point where I definitely see the Knicks having trouble when they play these dudes soon. it's just amazing, like just amazing to get to the point. Hey, they were once my neighbors. I was 20 something minutes away from Caesars Arena. That was I watched a couple games, so no, I definitely what the Pistons are right now is just incredible to see. I remember going there to watch them against, I can't remember who again now, but I went there and I was looking outside the stadium. I was like, this stuff wasn't here last season when you guys were so like the whole complexion of the stadium and everything has changed, and people going to games and stuff like that and experiencing that is like a big deal. Second is Kenny Atkinson. I'm cleaning tears from my eyes when Daye is talking about Kenny Atkinson, because I was the one pushing my Milwaukee Bucks to get this guy as a coach when we could. But what did we go do? We went to go get the Adrian. Let's never start with the Adrian Griffin guy. Then went to go get Doc. I was like, bro, Kenny Atkinson is perfect for this team. But that's it. So Kenny Atkinson definitely goes with my team. And number 3 is Ime Udoka. I don't know if everyone remembers. There was a period of time where Houston were like on a 5-game losing streak. They've lost a lot of games. And at that point, I don't know if they dropped, but I'm sure they dropped on the standings. But at that point, you're like, I don't know if these guys are going to be able to do it. And the way they responded and the way the Steph thing with him going at Steph, that almost every time that could go wrong for a coach. Like the fact that he had the boldness to do that, and the fact that your players responded to you doing that. Like, it's one thing to speak like that, because I'm one of the biggest proponent of never speak on these players, especially like the greats, when you don't have the chance to go on the courts to actually do something about it. And when he did that, I was like, bro, you're talking to Steph. But his players saw that, his players knew that, and his ability to galvanize guys like that, and his ability to be very, I feel Ime has a lot of his flaws, which is not what we're speaking about now, but he's my third on my list. I was gonna ask this question because we didn't have this. Do we Daye mentioned something and it's made me remember. Who is our comeback player of the year? I know it's like a quick thought text. We didn't plan this. I think it's an easy choice. Who is our comeback player? I think it's Garland. The way
I agree.
The way Darius Garland was being spoken about after that playoff series, with the fact that this dude had a broken jaw. This dude had I believe we found out in the offseason that he lost a family member. He was injured and he came, and I was like, you guys forgot who this dude is. Like, this is one of the, like, he's not like the greatest of stars. He's an all-star in this league, and he's one of the most coolest players to even watch and the funnest players to watch in this league. And I'm so happy for him because, yeah, people were talking crazy on his name after that playoff run. I'm like, no, this is not the Darius Garland we know. This dude just is dealing with a lot right now. And we didn't even know he was going through family issues and stuff like that and losing someone. So I'm so happy for Darius Garland. So yeah, I just want to mention that.
I got a half award that I want to give to Mr. Zion Williamson. I can't give up on this guy, bro. In the 30 games that he played, he was incredible. I'm a fan, bro. I can't give up on him as your first option guy. Just the way that he scores. He's in his last 20 games, he scored 26 points per game on 28 minutes. Like, he on 60% shooting from the field, 6.7 rebounds and 5.3 assists. His assists have gone up. He looked as healthy, as fit, as whatever in a long time this season in the few 30-ish games that he did play. So he's my half award because he did still miss most of the season, but I just wanted to mention him.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think, you know one thing I just thought about? This is like a project for me, just a thought exercise. Or to be honest, this could be for all of us, because obviously one of the things we want is for Daye to come here once a week with us, even though we're going to be recording twice. I'm going to create awards after this playoffs. Something fun. Not like prototypical or clutch player of the playoffs, or like obviously we'll pick the MVP and all those type of things. But I want like some fun exercise, and this you can hate, you can love, it could be, but I'm going to find like maybe like 7 awards that we have after this playoffs to come up with that, and that will be my project throughout this playoffs. And I think the playoffs are probably going to like bring the ideas too of what we maybe like best crowd or best moment or something like that. We're going to create awards for that at the end of the playoffs. So let's begin, guys. As I said before we started this, I'm looking at this slate, and I don't think any.
Wait, we got a few All NBA teams. We'll just
Oh
get
my
through
We'll run
real
God!
through it soon.
quick.
We'll run through it quickly. Don't
Run
worry.
through it.
Run.
First team.
I completely apologize. I totally
No
forgot
worries.
because I didn't do this exercise. I didn't waste
Yeah,
my
yeah,
time
no
to do
worries.
this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's
We
go.
won't even waste too much time.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
First
Elias.
team: Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Tatum. I think that's a lock for those four. I got Anthony Edwards as my fifth player. I think the 3-point shooting offensively. You make a big trade right before the season starts for Julius Randle. You got a completely not new system, but you got a new second best player beside you.
Yeah.
And I think he's just been great scoring the ball this season. Daye.
Yeah. Quick one. Shea, Tatum, Jokic, Giannis are the locks. Completely agree with that. And then the guy I put in the fifth spot was D Mitch. This was the one I had a really
Yeah.
hard time with. But I have to award what the season he had. Because I actually do think he could have had an even better season, but he sacrificed a lot of himself, so that team could be good. And I want to award that because he's been fabulous.
For sure.
Really good.
I agree.
I completely agree with both teams. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then
Second team, what I went here was Curry and Cade, Harden, Cat. The one guy I do want to shout out with on this team is Cat. Cat for me at times was the second best center in all of basketball. He has had an incredible season. I'm so happy for that guy. That guy makes me super happy. He's still dumb. He still gets in foul trouble all the time. But the things he was doing this year, in terms of being a shooter, being a scorer, and the defensive side didn't show as much as he could. But of course, he was kind of hidden at times. But I think he's really given himself to that team, and shout out to him, man. He's had a great year.
last minute change for me. I'm moving one guy over. You've convinced me. My second team, I got Mitchell and Mobley. I got Brunson and Cat, and then I got Cade.
Yeah.
Very good players all around. And then my third team, I gotta go Zubac, Harden, LeBron, Halliburton, and Curry. I gotta put in the two Clippers there, which is difficult, but I've just been super impressed with both Zubac and Harden, who I know you got your reservations about him, Sam, but
Oh my God.
I think
Don't even get me started. You don't want to get me
as
started with that
an
one.
engine for a team, the Clippers, who were without Kawhi for most of the season, he had to put them on his back.
I
he
definitely
had-
sorry. I just have to say this regular season by Harden has been awesome. He's carried that team on his back and everything.
Yeah.
So I raise my hands for that. Don't worry. But I still have something to say when we go to that series. But there you go.
Yeah. So I'm gonna zag a little bit here. So I'll give you the names that are quite obvious first. I went with LeBron, third team. I couldn't get all the way there with him on the second team. That's fine. J-Dub. I've had a beef with J-Dub for a long time. I think you have to award a guy who wins 68 games. You have to. I think a team that wins 68 games has to have two All-NBA players.
Yeah,
This was probably one of the guys that was hardest for me to get over there. I got there in the end. I think he's been incredible this season. I went with Halliburton as one of the guards. He's been awesome. And then I went with Mobley, DPOI. Definitely think he's been on that. And then this is my stunner, my shocker. I filled out my last spot with Şengün. The year that Alfred Şengün has had has been incredible. That Rockets team is the engine of everything it does. I have to award a guy like that. He's been insane. So that's why I wrote.
I completely agree. Şengün has to be on all NBAs. Yeah. Daye, before we move to the playoffs and talk about that, do you want to do something for me? I think your camera might be misty. So like try to clean the lens. Yeah. Try to clean the lens.
Do you have an all defense team?
I do actually.
No, yeah, we're going to move to all defense. Sorry. Yeah, just try use a cloth or something. I think a cloth will be better because it's gonna
Yeah.
I use my glasses as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will work.
I agree with Şengün. I looked at him before I remember that Halliburton existed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely think Şengün or somebody on the Rockets needs to be awarded.
Let's go all defense.
All defense, number one, Dyson Daniels. Number 2, Draymond. Number 3, Mobley. Dort and Amen. That's my 5.
That's
Okay.
crazy. We have the same 5.
Okay,
It's the
nice.
exact same 5 I have. So yeah, no notes on that. I mean, shout out Amen Thompson, who might be my second favorite player to watch in the NBA.
So
Fun as
good.
hell. He's incredible. Second team, I don't know if this is gonna be Zag. I just ran through some guys here. J-Dub again, insane on that team.
I
I would
agree.
love to recommend that guy. I went with Triple J. He's been great for the Grizzlies. Gobert, Zubac, and this is the one that I had to award this guy. Tuamani Kamara has been an insane defensive player. Get that guy some respect. I think I'm getting my offset.
That's one of the best defenders in the league that isn't being called one of the best defenders. He's scary.
He's
He's insane as a defender.
insane.
Whoa.
Insane.
No, I think I like if I've done the Totex, I think we would have some of the exact same names. On a scale of 1 to 10, guys, how much do you care that the Hawks and Heat are playing the playing game?
Oh, I was about to mention it just now.
I saw the score. It was 10-0 when I was looking. And now it's 14-10, but it was 10-0. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on a scale to 10, it's a 0.
I don't care. My second team though, I also got Zubac. I also got J-Dub. I also got Gobert. I wanted to reward my very own Mr. OG Anunoby. I just think he needs to get some love eventually. And the guy that I cheated with, Mr. Chris Dunn, is I believe he's like 7 or 11 minutes underneath whatever the threshold is for 20 minutes. I just think that's BS. So I wanted to put Chris Dunn there.
Yeah. I think one name people are not really mentioning is Nikhil Alexander Walker, and I think he's had a really, really, really good season. And I'm sorry, Jalen Wells had the type of season where if I made that list, I probably would add him on the second team. Like I really loved everything I saw of him and stuff. Okay, guys, this is the best time of the year for me. NBA playoffs are here. As I said, this is probably one of the greatest slates I've ever started the NBA playoffs with. It's going to start from 1 p.m. It's probably going to end at 11. And my whole day is going to be spent eating, laying down, standing up.
I can't wait, bro.
It's incredible. And Daye being our host, sorry, not host, being our guest, you can pick whatever series you want to start with and let's deep dive.
So I want to start with I want to get a series that I think there's a lot of really interesting series here. I want to get the series that I think is not going to take that long. Let's start with Celtics Magic.
No. Wait. 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you going? Oh, you're going Sunday or Saturday? Because I was thinking
you want to go Saturday.
I think we should start with Saturday games.
Okay,
let's start with the Saturday
no
games. Yeah.
In that case, you know what? I'll do you a favor, Sammy. Let's go Lakers Wolves.
Oh boy.
I will go Lakers Wolves.
I'm sorry. Just the fact I thought any series, I was like Celtics Magic first. Like that's really funny. We'll just get it out of the way as fast as possible.
No. I wanted us to talk about Saturday specifically first because that's tomorrow. I know. So yeah.
Okay. That's good. Yep. Yeah. We'll do Lakers Wolves.
Lakers Wolves. Let's go, Daye.
Where to start? Okay, so let's start with the Lakers. What a fun season this has been for the Lakers, who look like all their bad decisions, team building, making decisions had finally caught up to them. And then one morning, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, who shall not be named by myself, decided that, you know what? Let me give the Lakers back an all-time player.
Oh,
and then handed them Luka freaking Doncic, who has been awesome since the Lakers trade. This is going to be such a fun series for a magnitude of reasons. We're going to have Braun, we're going to have Reeves, we're going to have Doncic, we're going to have Ant, Randall, Gobert, Green. I don't even know where to start in terms of what like my favorite narrative is here. Wow, there's a lot of meat on the bone here. You know what? Here's where I want to start. I'm going to start with Ant because I think Ant has had like a really quietly insane season. Ant went from last year where there's a lot of criticism about him as a playmaker, him as an initiator, and the things he brought to the table outside of scoring, which They were all fair. So normally, and Sam is gonna hate this, most players who have had this criticism of their ball handling, playmaking, and everything would make a decision to become better playmakers. And said, fuck that. I'm a scorer. I went and became the best 3-point shooter not named Steph Curry overnight in the NBA. The offensive season he had from behind the arc this season was incredible. I don't have the numbers right there in front of me. I should, but the 3-point stuff I think was that he was shooting about 41% from three on about 10, maybe 10 or so attempts.
10 attempts,
Pulling
yeah.
10 attempts, yeah. Yeah, 39.5%. You can say 40% on 10 attempts a game. The things he does scoring wise for that team is insane. I think he's actually become underrated as a defender. That's just a guy that when he's engaged and he's locked in, um, gives you hell on the other side. And I just think that the scary thing for me, if I was a Wolves fan, is that I don't want Ant to kind of get caught up in this series in terms of playing in LA, playing in front of the glitz and glamour, playing against this like really good team, because I do fear that like we can get to a point where he's taking 30 shots a game, and like JJ Redick is going to scheme and hope that that's how they get. Because if you look at some of the games that the Wolves have lost this season, a lot of it in part comes down to Ant's inability to get other people involved in the game and just being too focused on taking over the game and getting everything to run through himself. Um, I think that the Lakers are going to do a lot in terms of scheming to ensure that he can't, or that he does have those big games. I think that JJ is going to allow Ant to kill them for the series because ensuring that everybody else doesn't get involved is how I think you're going to beat that team. On the Lakers side, I don't even know if there's much to talk about here because not much, not in terms of there's not much. I think everything speaks for itself. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves. How many teams can say we have a better 1, 2, 3 punch than that? Just on the season, Braun averaged 24.4 points, Reeves averaged 20.2, Luka averaged 28.2. Um, Shout out to the Wolves if they can stop this on a night-to-night basis. I think that they struggle. I'm expecting Reeves to at one point have like a massive monster, like 35-point outing that probably swings the series. If I had to guess just off the top of my head, I am actually a bit worried about the Wolves because I do think that despite the Lakers' concerns in terms of rim protection and in terms of how they can funnel guys to the rim and ensure that um, they don't get killed on the interior. They're gonna have Gobert all night, but I do think that is going to be proved too much. Just to wrap it up and get you guys involved on this, I do think that this series is not actually going to be that close. So I'm going to say now. I think Lakers in 5.
Really?
I'm going to go with the same
Lakers in
shot me.
5.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. That's
It pains me to
crazy.
say that, but yeah.
I was so when this series happened, that was the first thing I thought about. Lakers in 5, genuinely, and not because of Shannon Sharp and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Not because of Shannon Sharp. Like, and honestly, I had to like take a step back and probably wonder if I was being like too overconfident. Obviously, I'm a Luka guy, so I support them and everything. But one of my biggest things, I think, is two things for me. You mentioned something. JJ Redick throughout this whole season has proved to me. They have proved to me watching them, and they sometimes they lose, sometimes they win. Have proved to me that they can schematically plan for playoff series. And my thinking is you have two of the greatest geniuses on a basketball team on your team. Luka and you have LeBron. And I feel where the series is going to end up is going to be the playmaking disparity between both teams. The playmaking disparity between both teams is probably going to be one of the biggest things that wins it for the Lakers. And you're going to have a big case of where I feel LeBron defensively is going to be called upon a lot in this series. His direct matchup with Julius Randle is going to say if the Wolves are even having a chance to take this game to like a game 6 or a game 7. If Julius Randle wins that matchup more times than often, then we're going to have a series on our hands. But I genuinely feel that LeBron taking Julius Randle out of the game because he can match him strength of strength. LeBron is still a smart defender even at age 40. And people need to understand this. the load on him has never been lighter. The load on him offensively has never been lighter. His ability to be able to think about other things, like people don't understand the weight of just thinking about the fact that you have to carry the team offense and you have to be the defender and you have to be the playmaker and you have to show up in the clutch. LeBron doesn't have that anymore. He doesn't. He literally said in his interview today, he's like, "Oh, just give Luka the ball. Like, what is the plan with Luka? Just give Luka the ball." Now he's able to spend his time in a playoff series to game plan one in the film room because we know LeBron is amazing at that. And the fact that I feel defensively LeBron's responsibilities in this series is what's going, because the Lakers are going to go small. He's going to have to play the five, and he's going to match Rudy Gobert at some of those minutes. He's going to match Julius Randle playing the five, because I feel the at some point in the series the Wolves are going to play a lot of their five-man lineup with Julius Randle at the five, and it's going to take out some things that the Lakers do well in terms of trying to like blitz Ant and stuff. Because if you put Randle in the middle, now Randle is a good playmaker and he can play make to the corner shooters and everything. The Lakers are going to have to answer for the fact that they have. I think the Wolves have better shooters. Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and everything. Those guys are going to have to hit their shots on a high clip to pretty much destroy the game plan of JJ Redick trying to blitz and all. But honestly, it's been said so much that, oh, the Lakers are going to blitz, and you guys can come into this conversation. I feel JJ might throw a wrinkle where they let Ants go one-on-one and switch everything. And just switch everything. And I think the blitzing might be very very situational, maybe 5 seconds off the shot clock, that kind of situation. I don't think the blitzing might be so much and everything. So I don't know what you have about that, Elias. There's so many. We have time to talk about this. So we can go on.
Personally, I did not think Lakers in 5. I thought 7-game series. I think this is a 7-game series, but when it comes down to it, I would have to pick the Lakers because they do have a Luka and LeBron, and I find it incredibly challenging to vote against them in a first-round series in their first series together. But I mean, in terms of like the Timberwolves defensively are going to be somewhat of a challenge, I think. Like, I know we saw last year Luka killing them a little bit, but I believe the Mavericks were better. That team was better than this Lakers team. Yeah. And I think that defensively, this Wolves team will be smarter, will hopefully know how to try to defend Luka even better. And I think, like, their 3-point shooting is better, and they have a better bench. And I know the bench, it's always like, how much does that really matter when it comes down to in playoff games? But I think, like, the minutes when Naz Reid is out there, when Dante is out there, like, those will be challenging for the Lakers. But when you bring up LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka, like, that is still difficult to guard. But I think that the Timberwolves should try and obviously challenge whoever Austin Reeves is guarding. And I mean, whether that's a McDaniels or whatnot, I mean, he's going to have to hit his 3-point shots or take the ball off the dribble and see what he can do. And then I also think that
sorry, to add to your point, I think Reeves might have big games, but I thought about it yesterday and I looked at the matchups and I was like, it's going to be Ant on him. And I don't think that's an easy matchup for him because Anthony Edwards is a great defender. Yeah. And I feel he's going to be motivated to take Reeves out of the game. The guy I think that might have a big series. And this is one guy that I feel I've had so much hope in him, and I'm waiting for that season where he finally realizes it, that I think he's more than he is. And I at least that's my belief. I think Rui might have a great series. I know I always look at Rui's, his frame, the shot profile, and everything. Like Rui is a really, really good player. And I feel he's going to have to be on Randle a lot and everything. And I think he's the guy that I don't know who the fourth defender the Wolves are going to put on him to be able to like take him away from the game and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So continue, Elias. I was just thinking about that Reeves matchup.
That's definitely fair. I mean, when you think about matchups, it's definitely going to be McDaniels on Luka. It's going to be Randle and LeBron, and then Ant and Reeves, like you said. That leaves Rudy, and if we're talking starting lineup, Mike Conley. So I think Mike Conley on Rui would be the more likely outcome, and then you got Gobert with Jackson Hayes. But then at that point, they're probably gonna have to double when Rui gets it, and it's gonna be a question for him because I like Rui. He has had some really good offensive games this season, but his three is not like the most clutch of all time, like in the league. Like he is actually shooting pretty well on his threes, but I don't. If there's one guy on the Lakers other than Jackson Hayes, I'll let Rui shoot some threes if I have to. Um, and yeah, I think like defensively, the Lakers they are going to try and switch everything. I think Randall needs to exercise his playoff demons. He has to have a good series, and it's not even like he has to go nuclear. He just has to play the way that he does and take advantage where he can. He like both him and Ant have to stay steady minded and not go like, okay, now I gotta win the game for us.
I just genuinely feel LeBron is going to take him out of this matchup. Like I really feel Bron not having to do a lot. Bron not having to do a lot. I know that defensively that is going to because I don't see where the matchup is again. That like I don't see Julius Randle beating LeBron in this matchup, especially with the fact that Bron isn't taxed with playmaking, playmaking, scoring, and all those type of things and all. I really genuinely feel a locked in LeBron defensively is going to be a problem for Julius Randle because if you can match Julius Randle's strength, what else?
Yeah.
If you can match his strength, what else? What like I don't, especially his scoring, right? Like once you're able to match his strength scoring wise, I don't see where Julius Randle has this thing. The only advantage I feel Julius Randle is going to have is in the moments where they blitz Ant and he's probably, or maybe there's a 2-3 zone and he's in the middle of the floor. His playmaking is going to play so much for the Timberwolves and everything, right? Like that's going to be a big deal and everything. But I just don't see. I've thought about. I was like, oh, Randle is like a big deal, but I was like, I think LeBron is going to take him out of this matchup, and I have that belief that LeBron is going to be because I just think about the do you guys remember the Denver Lakers series? Was it 2 years ago where Bron had like 31, 32 points in the first half, and they went on to lose the series because he would gas out. No, Bron he doesn't need to do that now. He doesn't need to do that. Like, bro, the Lakers have scored 60 points, and I've not seen LeBron drop a sweat, because Luka is on the court, and Luka and Reeves are going to take playmake, go score, like that kind of stuff. Bron can think, and I think Julius Randle is going to be the matchup where Bron and JJ Redick look and like, okay, we need to take that guy out of the game. And I don't see how he wins that matchup.
No, definitely. I think that Randall LeBron matchup will definitely be a big one.
What do we think about do we think because the Lakers are weird, right? They're obviously a small team, but I think them being small is very funny though, because Luka is 6'8", LeBron is 6'9", Rui is 6'9", Finney-Smith is 6'8", 6'9". So their small is not the kind of small where it's like in quotations, right? It's very they're just small at center because Jackson is like 6'10", and obviously he plays like 15 minutes a game and stuff like that. So one of the ways to win in games for Minnesota would be, can Gobert punish them two ways, right? One, obviously, you have to out-rebound. You have to win the possession game. As I've said, you have the two smartest guys on the court on the Lakers. You need to get more possessions. And Daye, do you think Gobert can be able to, one, stay on the floor? Because I've always said Gobert's issue isn't even defensively. It is offense. It is offense being non-viable that makes him get off the floor. So I'm saying, is he able to stay on the floor a long time where he's able to like punish them on the glass and obviously get Ant and these guys more possessions?
I just think they don't have a choice. I think we've gotten to that part of the season. Unironically, I do think, just as a quick segue, I do think that what the Wolves would have really wanted in this series would have been to have Karl Towns. No jokes. This version of Karl Towns would have been incredible matchup because he would have brought size, flexibility, and shooting would have been there. He's gone now. We're besides the point. I don't think Gobert has much of a choice in terms of what he needs to bring. The only thing that I would say that maybe would be a little bit like encouraging for Wolves fans is that there has been a really quiet uptick in terms of like the scoring and like not the scoring per se, but like the responsibility that they've handed him. Last couple of games, they are not, it's not a great sample size end of the season. 19 points against the Jazz, 35 against Brooklyn, 13 against Memphis, 6 against Milwaukee, 23 against Philly, 21 against Brooklyn, 19 against Denver, 19 against Detroit. So, if you can get I think if you can get 15 points out of Gobert on a nightly basis, it's not ideal. He is what he is. You know why he's on the court. He's there to be a defensive anchor. If he can still get on the glass, still be just fine. He doesn't have to be. I think the problem is that at the end of the day, he is like once you ice on him, there is that real issue of like his functionality as a perimeter defender, his functionality in the drop. So the hope is that at the end of the day, he can still stay on the court long enough that he gives them extra possessions. Because really, if he can get himself on the Lakers' defensive glass and give the Wolves those extra possessions, I do
It,
think that this can be a close series.
and I
The
and I
problem is,
yeah, sorry.
yeah,
And to that point, the extra possessions are going to mean that one of the greatest things about schemes and all is if you don't get the rebound, it's really hard to reset yourself
yeah,
defensively. And now
yeah,
it's Ant, it's open 3 point, it's Naz Reid, those guys. And I think that's why the Wolves need to win this thing. And with Gobert, is the fact of the matter is, bro, when you get on Luka and when you get on Reeves, if you can't score in those possessions, it's going to be a long night for you guys, right? And that's
yeah,
one of the ways I think about it, where it's like, okay, we know you don't have a good offensive back, but bro, if you are 5 foot from the rim, dunk this dudes into the rim or some shit like that, right? You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
literally how I feel about like really in this thing, and yeah, like if they play drop, it's just gonna be a long night.
yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I
I,
definitely agree. They need to win the rebounding battle. The Timberwolves do. And like you need a guy like Naz Reid or Dante DiVincenzo to
Ooh,
have huge 3-point shooting games, which I
yeah,
think they
yeah,
definitely
they
can.
can,
Because they will play big minutes. And one thing I like about Chris Finch that I've heard other people talk about is like he's not afraid to bench anybody.
yeah,
Like if you're not playing well, or if this is not your night, or we need these guys out instead of you, we will run that. So I think that'll let for a bunch of very interesting closing lineups and just lineups in general where you might not think like, oh, okay, I guess today they gave Jalen Clark 15 minutes somehow, or like they'll just do anything to try and win a game. And I think that yeah, it'll be very fun to watch.
guys.
Um,
The one thing I would say is, and this is not being spoken about, but this is the kind of things where I'm always like, I hope they don't figure this out in terms of like an opposing team, right? I saw I saw this dude called Terrence Shannon Jr. on
mm-hmm,
Minnesota,
yep.
and I'm sorry, that dude, dude,
Can't
that dude
score.
is insane. But
Yeah,
it's a very veteran laden team that I don't think they're going to even think about him. And I saw him against the Lakers, and I was like, oh, like this is something else that you have as like as a weapon. But I hope they don't notice. That's all I was saying. Like I hope they don't notice. But I
yeah,
agree on the DiVincenzo and Naz Reid points because those 3 point guys, those guys. If after a game you tell me those guys have 10 threes between them, very possible, very
yeah,
possible.
no, definitely.
I
That's funny.
guess.
I think his best game actually was against the Lakers. He had
Yeah,
25 points. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I think my final point here on this series is just that my biggest fear for the T Wolves is that, and I don't know how often this has been spoken about in the Lakers series. I didn't realize that this was the case. The Lakers are 31-10 at home this season. 31-10. Mind you, it looked
that's
like their
tough.
season was going sideways at the
Yeah.
start of it, and this team still won 31 games at home. The
yeah.
thing is, like, how many? Do you feel confident that like Ants can like? Because I feel like if this series goes 0-2, I trust the Lakers to go back to Minnesota and win a
I
game,
win one, right?
and that's where the 5 game number I came down to that number because if Minnesota can go to LA and steal a win, we have a serious series on hand.
The
The problem is I
the
can't
question
see it
is
happen.
the question is on the Lakers. I don't think there's been any more guys. They need to show me their game one records. Luka and LeBron are terrible game one. They are terrible. Like their record for game ones is terrible. Except for Luka, except if it's a Jason Kidd thing, because Jason Kidd too is also bad in terms of his game one records, because obviously that's been his main coach. But LeBron doesn't really have a great record game ones, and Luka doesn't have a great record game one. So, but the
We'll
Lakers
see if they come out and stun them.
the Lakers home court is a real thing, and they've been really really good at home and stuff like that. Oh, is there any bench guys? We've talked about Naz Reid and stuff, but I was just looking at the Lakers. One of the guys that I've really been impressed with this season is Goodwin on the Lakers. The dude knows how to play, and he makes a lot of winning plays. And for me, I think this series ends by. I think Finney-Smith is a big part of the series. Like a good Finney-Smith series, Daye said, I feel if you have a 40% shooting 3-point series from Finney-Smith, the Lakers are probably won this in 5. And I feel his defensive versatility, because this is what's going to happen when Finney-Smith comes in to play the 5, it's going to be LeBron actually playing the 5, and Finney-Smith can actually stay on. He can guard on the perimeter, and it's going to be Ant on him and stuff. And while Ant is going to win that matchup a lot of times, just having one guy where you're like, okay, we're fine with this guy not double teaming and stuff like that is going to be a big deal. Another thing people talk about is like, oh, making Luka work, making Reeves work. I completely agree with that point. I just don't think the Minnesota players that are going to be attacking those guys are going to be. They don't have the juice, ball handling wise and creation wise, where I think they're going to really be like be able to pick at those guys. And what do you guys think about that?
No, that's definitely fair. I think Dorian Finney-Smith has to like that. That's one of the guys that the Timberwolves are going to dare to shoot, and whether that's a good idea or not, like they need to leave somebody open if they're going to double team a Luka or LeBron.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he is 41% from the field on threes, so that is kind of tough. But I mean, yeah, he needs to hit his threes, because he will be open. They will let him be open until he hits like 3 or 4 or 5 of them in a game before they really guard him like that, because they need to get an advantage on doubling Luka and or LeBron, because yeah, I mean, Jaden McDaniels is great, but it's Luka Doncic, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I'm still going to go 7. Mostly biased because I want to see 7 games of this. And I think in a game 7, I can't go against Luka and LeBron in their first ever playoff series. I can't. So I think the Lakers in 7, yeah.
I've been feeling Lakers in 5, and it's not because I feel it's going to be an easy series. I just feel they're just going to edge it in a lot of games and stuff like that. And I also have been questioning that too. Like I'm not like, oh, 100% this is my, like I've really been questioning it, because I think Wolves have a lot of things. But the one thing I would say also, Daye, when you're reading back the teams that they've been playing, that they've been winning, people are talking about the Wolves 17-4 record. I saw those wins, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Like the team. I'm sorry. Those teams. I'm sorry. I saw the teams they were playing, and I don't want. Obviously, you win, you beat who is in front of you and everything.
Yeah.
But those teams are not teams that I feel exposes the things the Wolves are bad in. And I watched them for a good chunk of the season and stuff like that. And it's weird, right? Like I love Ant, and I feel Ant is amazing, and he's gonna show up and stuff like that. But they have a weird way of like wilting within games. It doesn't really mean like they're choking, but they just know how to. They find a way to wilt, and I feel the Lakers are going to press on almost all their pressure points, and I don't feel the Wolves have the players that are going to pressure, because the Lakers are flawed. The Lakers are very much flawed, and I don't just think the Wolves have the ability to pressure on their pressure points. The Wolves have to win this series by, if Julius Randle is amazing and great, they have a great chance of winning the series. If they defend, like their defense have to their defense have to play out of their mind too and stuff like that. So that's the way I see. Offensively, I don't see how they win the series. That's the thing. I don't see where the offensive I don't see where except if these guys just have crazy shooting nights, and which can happen. But I feel the Lakers and JJ Redick has proved that they can scheme against most things and stuff like that. Elias, do you want to pick the next series?
My favorite, most anticipated series. I cannot wait for this one. Nuggets and Clippers.
Oh, boy.
I am so excited for this series. I just knock on wood. I hope we don't get any Kawhi injury or anything like that. I hope everybody stays healthy because this Clippers team has been absolutely incredible offensively, defensively. Defensively for most of the year, they've been like top 3. They've been one of just the best overall teams in the last 2 months. Kawhi has looked like Kawhi. James Harden has had a really good, solid, stable season. And then Zubac as well improved a lot defensively. A great matchup against Nikola Jokic, if you could ever have one. And then on the other side, it's Jokic versus the world. I am going Clippers in 7. I don't believe that the Nuggets can hang with the Clippers defensively. I think that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. will be they'll be wrung out in this series. I think that they are gonna get attacked as much as possible by the Clippers. I think in a defensively, I think that Jokic they are able to put Zubac on Jokic and feel good about it. And it's like, sure, Jokic, you can score on us. Zubac is a big body. He can handle his own a little bit. We'll double here and there, but they have been really good at showing help and then recovering. And I just don't believe that the Nuggets team can win against this defense. That's really what it comes down to for me.
Daye.
Oh man, this is hard. So I just want to run through some Clipper stuff here before I say what I want to say. Zubac since the All-Star break, 19.6 points, 12.6 rebounds, 3 assists a game. We're talking about a guy who has like transcended. I don't know if you guys saw the quote about Braun. Braun joking that he wished he had Zubac on his team again. And like I was listening to a pod earlier today about have you guys like gone back and seen like what the Lakers got back in that Zubac trade?
They
Do you
got
remember what
Mike
it was?
Muscala.
Mike Muscala.
Mike Muscala, because the Lakers needed shooting. Yeah, okay. So that was just a fun trade. Harden since the All-Star break, 25.2 points a game, 8.9 assists, 5.7 rebounds. He is the engine in that Clippers offense. Everything that they do runs through him. And one of the things I've been particularly impressed with about Harden this season is the first quarter scoring. Harden has this really smart knack of like not wasting any time in terms of getting going. He knows how to get his guys going. He knows how to get himself going. He doesn't waste any time. In my opinion, this has probably been the most fun version of Harden to watch. I know he's a really gifted scorer, but for me, Harden has always been most exciting to watch when he is getting guys involved, but he's still getting to his spots, getting his jump shot off, and just picking and choosing when to go after players. So that's him. Kawhi since the All-Star break, 25 points a game, 6.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Um, and that is being done on, let's see here, 43.7 3-point shooting on 5.7 attempts. This Clippers team has won, let's see here, 9 of their last games. They dropped 5 points against the Cavs. Before that, they beat Brooklyn. They beat the Knicks. Lost by 2 to the Thunder. Beat the Grizzlies by 20. Beat the Cavs. Beat the Hornets. Beat the Hawks. Beat the Heat. Lost to the Pelicans. Beat the Kings. Beat the Knicks. Beat the Pistons. Lost to the Suns and then the Lakers. That was their March run. Um, I say all of this to say that I'm going Clippers in 6. I love Jokic. I think that that's a difference maker. This team is so stacked. This team has like silently been one of the best teams in the NBA. ignore what the record says in terms of 50 games. A fully healthy season, I do think that this team could have won close to 55 games. Probably could have been the second best team, maybe the third best team in the East. Um, I really, really hate going against Jokic because I do actually think that statistically this has been his most like impressive season. Uh, Basically 30 points a game, 12.7 rebounds, 10.2 assists, 1.8 steals, 0.6 blocks. Um, he's still taking almost five threes a game and shooting 41.7%. Sammy pointed out earlier in the pod that the offensive season he's had has just been incredible. Unfortunately for him, I do really worry about like everything else aside that. The Michael Porter thing hasn't been great.
Told you they should have
Russell,
traded that dude. Told you they should have sent that dude packing.
fine. I take your point. I'm worried about Russ against. I'm really, really worried about Russ against the Clippers. Not because I think like Ty Lue is going to scheme anything. I think Russ will scheme himself. I think Russ is like I think Russ will do it for them. And then after like those top like six guys, I really worry about like the Nuggets team. Because then
Their bench.
we're looking like these are guys I love. I love Peyton Watson, Julian Strawher, like DeAndre Jordan, Jalen Pickett, Zeke Naji. Like it gets really tough once you run down the bench. And then in contrast to the Clippers, who I think just have guys, Norman Powell, Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, Amir Coffey,
Nicholas Batum is
Bogdan
back.
Bogdanovic, Nicholas Batum, Ben Simmons, like well,
Bogdanovich. Oh
they
man,
just have all these.
they're
I've
so
talked.
good.
They're so good, and I've made this point for many years that the scariest teams aren't the teams that have the best players. It's teams that just have guys that just have guys. And this Clippers team, top to bottom, is loaded with guys. I really, 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 really do not want to bet against Jokic. I think that that is a special guy. Everything he does offensively is special. However, this is the worst first match he could have had throughout, and that's like including like OKC would have been one thing. As good as that team is special. I still think that that would have been a better matchup for him because that team is still improving. It's still young. It's still going through the motions. The Rockets are great, but the offense can stutter. These are things we'll get onto later. But my point is that this is a team that is veteran oiled, has three great players really, and just has a vast bench of guys and role guys who can kill you in any different ways. Norm Powell could go out and have a 30-point game, and that's not going to surprise me. And unfortunately for them, I just don't think. I'm even rethinking my. I think I'm going to go Clippers in five. I don't
Damn.
want to, but this team is. I think this team is really good, and I don't want to bet against Jokic, but this is as hard as a first matchup as you are going to get. Um, and shout out to Jokic if he can get past this team. It's a 50-win team. If he can get past this, we can stop the 50-win team because this is a really good Clippers team.
Yeah.
I'm just like super concerned about like because again they're not gonna have a battle playoff tested coach. There's still concerns about the offensive stuff. The defensive stuff is a bit worrisome, and you're going against Kawhi, who's going to kill you in every different spot he can. Kawhi's going to get to his spot the whole series. Harden is going to get to his spot the whole series. He's going to get everybody involved, and Zubac is going to make Jokic's life hell. Not to say that he's going to take him out of the game. You don't take guys like Jokic out of the game, but he's going to make it hard. And one thing that Zubac is really special at is he doesn't get into foul trouble. He stays on the court. He stays in his spots. He knows how to make life difficult for bigs. I'm really worried for Denver in this series. Truly,
Okay.
I don't want to go 5 games, but I'm really doing the math, and I'm like, this is really worrisome for the Nuggets. So that's my thing.
The playoffs come, and every time I can bank on one thing. Not like I disagree with anything you guys saying, but I'm zagging. I'm completely zagging. I'm taking Nuggets in 7. And this
Wow.
is going to be a very, very hard series for them. And you guys' prediction might be right at the end of the day because I'm not 100% confident in what I'm saying because I think Clippers are the better team. Top to bottom, the Clippers are the better team. But there's two things. I have to believe in my James Harden. My James Harden's battle for all these years will come true. My James Harden, he's the engine, right? Oh, I love this. You're the system, right? I love this. Until you prove to me, you prove to me that
Oh my goodness.
I don't get to win in the playoffs against James Harden, then I will believe that he's going to show up. And this is the thing that I think that is going to be the biggest thing for the Nuggets. At the end of this series, if they've won this series, we're going to look at Jamal Murray having to battle against probably the two worst guys he can have to have to go against on the perimeter, which is in Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. So I'm going to make a case for why I think Nuggets are going to win 7. I don't know what Jamal is going to do, honestly, because I think those matchup for him, and especially with the fact that he might not be healthy, is probably the worst two guys that they're going to make his life hell, like completely hell. And I don't know where he is right now for me to even point at that, right? So I'm not confident on what Jamal Murray is. The Zubac thing and the Jokic thing for me is one of the biggest things that I've thought about. I was in the car, I was thinking about this. I was like, the best way to get Jokic in trouble, especially on the other end, defensively, is not what Zubac presents. Zubac makes his life easier defensively. I believe that. Not because Zubac is not good, but because Zubac is not going to drag Jokic across the floor. Zubac is not going to bring Jokic at the top of the perimeter to guard. Zubac is going to want to bang. And I don't think that's the way to get Jokic tired or expose Jokic defensively. Because the best way to approach is to make Jokic tough is test his rim protection, which is going to be bad, and bring him on switches, bring him on the perimeter, make him tired, run him ragged. The whole say that is what gets Jokic. Zubac is going to be in certain spots on the floor where I feel Jokic is going to be able to defend easily. If this was 2 years ago, I was going to pick Clippers in 5. The reason why I believe if this was 2 years ago, I was going to pick Clippers in 5 is because 2 years ago's Jokic was not comfortable yet with going to out to go score 50. This Jokic is. This Jokic is understanding of everything that is on the court with him, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to, bro. We see every time there's a clutch game, he just backs in. He gets a 3-foot shot. Probably I think in the history of the game, I don't think there's been anyone that has a better, in terms of clutch type of, the best buckets in the clutch. Like, it doesn't mean he scores every time, but the best buckets in the clutch, that dude has it. So my argument is Zubac brings a lot of great things for the Clippers. I just feel the Jokic aspect of it defensively, he doesn't expose what Jokic is going to be defensively. And this is my last point. If we were to handpick a few guys, which they don't even exist, I don't think there's 7 guys in the league, right? A few guys that could guard Kawhi Leonard, one of those few guys I would select is Aaron Gordon. Because Kawhi no longer beats people with the speed anymore. The speed is not the same it used to be. Aaron Gordon struggles with that. We could see him against the Ant matchup. Like, Ant is too quick. Ant is too fast. Too much. I feel Aaron Gordon is one of those few. I think the funny thing about this is the Nuggets defense is not good, and I don't trust their defense. And if they were playing the Lakers, I feel they would have been in trouble, right? I just feel against the Clippers, the two guys that they're going to have to worry, obviously, is Harden and obviously Harden and Kawhi. And I really believe if I was going to select defenders in the league, they have them. Because I think Christian Braun is going to do a great job on Harden. Because 1, Christian Braun is a really good defender. And 2, hey, the ghost of the playoffs. There's no one that forgets that. James Harden is going to prove me right again come playoff time. That is my belief. So my belief in this series is I don't think I can bank on Jamal Murray in this series at all. Because I think he's going to have troubles in this series with those guys. My belief is I believe Jokic is ready to do whatever it takes. And if it's 60, he's ready to do whatever it takes. And I don't think Zubac affects him and puts him in a situation where the Nuggets defense is going to be in trouble. And I'm just going with the fact that, man, it's the time of the season and Harden always proves me right. So that's my case. That's my case.
No, that's fair. I'm voting against. I'm voting Harden needs. I mean, obviously he has his playoff woes. I think he needs to be amazing in this series, but I think like Kawhi will kill. I agree. Aaron Gordon is a good defender, but I just think that Kawhi has been playing, and I think he also recognizes himself like he needs to show up, not just like physically actually being healthy enough to play, but showing up in the playoffs. And like their last series that he played against the Suns, he had like that first game where he was incredible, and then we get the tweet that he's out. I just think that Kawhi will be really good in this series. I think if you could put whatever the matchups will be, and we end up with Mr. Norman Powell on Michael Porter Jr., that's cooked.
I feel this series could also be a series where we look at it and be like, yo, Norman Powell, Bogdanovich, Zubac won this series for the Clippers. Like literally,
Yeah.
I really feel that's what we like. I really believe that even if Harden, like I'm saying, obviously I'm leaning to Harden having not a great series, and that's one of the reasons why the Nuggets lose. I feel the Clippers are so built to a point where they could still win this series irrespective of that, right?
Yeah.
Like genuinely because of those guys they have on the court. Sorry.
Yeah, like I think that if Harden was really struggling one game, I think like he can recognize himself. He will be able to make the passes and make the plays to get a Norman Powell and a Bogdanovich and just whoever else to try and get some threes. Even Derrick Jones Jr. Like he will go to other players and help out his teammates score if he is not scoring as well. I just believe that he'll be able to do that in those games.
Guys, I want the game 7. Imagine a game 7 in Mile House City, bro. Oof. In that stage, that would be incredible. But it's very important. See, I'm saying all this. I'm sorry, the Nuggets can't drop a game at home. They gotta win. And your first 2 home games, get it. Just get it, because that Inuit Dome is going to be crazy. The Inuit Dome is going to be.
I was just about to bring up the dome. There was a tweet I saw earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I think I saw it.
From Lev Akabas about the dome, where it makes Clippers opponents shoot worse. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see it here on the pod. It's probably not going to show up.
Yeah.
Basically, the wall makes teams shoot around, I want to say just over 73%. Opponents are shooting at 73% free throw line. That would rank at the very bottom. Only team that is within that stratosphere would be Houston, in terms of getting teams to miss. That stadium is going to be completely rocking, and I just want to run through some of the defensive stuff for the Clippers, just basic stats. So I'm not even going to get into the advanced stuff because I think that this is my worry for the Nuggets. So let's see here. First in rebounds. So this is opponents. This is what opponents are. And when I say first, I'm talking about limiting. So limiting, 30th.
Yeah. Worse.
First in rebounds allowed, third in field goals made, fifth in 3-point percentage, seventh in free throw percentage, eighth in true shooting, 10th in turnover. This defense
is going to be hell. It's going to be hell for Nuggets. I completely agree.
To wreak havoc. And then the other thing that's kind of scary about this Clippers team is that they were third in steals, seventh in 3-point shooting, 10th in free throws made, 9th in true shooting. I really, and I would love to try and get around to this series really being close, because I think that having stars and having great players playing as long as possible is the best thing for the NBA.
Yeah.
Having Jokic play a 7-game series against Kawhi Leonard, James Harden is what the NBA needs. But I'm really struggling because this Clippers team is as good as it's been. They, like I said before, 9-1 in their last 10 games. They've won 30 out of their 41 home games this season. They've allowed 108.2 points against opponents. This is just a really, really special team. I don't know how. It felt like they became good overnight. Like it felt like once Kawhi came back and once they kind of just gelled and everything, basically since the All-Star break, this team has been one of the best in the NBA.
Yeah.
I really want to get there.
The paths to victory for the Nuggets are very slim. very slim.
It's
Like
it's
very slim. Because as I said, as much as I'm picking Nuggets in 7, it's all because I believe in Jokic so much,
yeah.
and I believe in my James Harden stuff that's been going on for over almost a decade now. That I just believe he's going to prove me right that he's not going to show up. Literally.
Yeah.
So that's the only part, because I think, as you said, schematically, what Ty Lue does is amazing. And yeah, when you look at that bench, the guys that Bogdanovic, that's someone that, if there's someone that rises to a moment and can give you, bro, don't be surprised you have a 5-minute spell where Bogdanovic has hit 4 threes and blown this is like that guy. That's the kind of guy he is, right? And I just feel, except if Jamal is insane, like, except if Jamal is insane, like, that means he would have to beat Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones and score against them consistently.
Yeah.
Except if he does that, man, I agree with Daye. This could be 5.
Yeah.
This could be because but there's one thing that is very important: Jokic mindset. And as I said, if 2 years ago was this, I probably would say this series is ending quickly. Jokic's mindset in terms of, you guys want to play, making the Clippers, how early he makes the Clippers feel they need to double team is going to play a factor here. And that's why I believe that he's such in a place where now, as a player, where he's like, okay, I need to score 50, I'm going to go score 50, right? And I feel that matchup against, you guys remember those LeBron, that LeBron series when Kyrie left and everything, that at the start of games, he doesn't even care. He just goes, first quarter, he's at 15 points, 20 points, because he knows that me being able to, because no one is scared of the other guys on the court, literally. So me being able to make you guys adjust to me is what is going to change the series. And I feel for Jokic, all lives matter offense, we're tossing that. All lives don't matter right now. The life of Michael Porter Jr. doesn't matter. The life of Jamal Murray doesn't matter. The life of Christian Brown doesn't matter. All those handoffs, none of those matters.
Jokic versus the world.
Literally, once the tip-off begin, go score 10 points in the first quarter. Go score 15 points in the first quarter. Make the Clippers decide that, this Zubac ain't sweet. Yeah. And the whole floodgates open from then on. That's the only way this is going to happen.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think, but that's why I think like Zubac is so good. He is such a good defender. Like, it will not be easy for a Jokic to just be like, okay, I'm just going to score 10 points in the quarter. Like, obviously he can do that, and he probably will do that, but it's definitely not going to be easy competition. And I think you're right. In this series, it's either Clippers win, it's either Jokic wins for the Nuggets, or Clippers lose because injuries and Harden disaster class. Like, I think that's the only way that the Nuggets can win is Jokic wins. It's not going to be Murray wins. It's not going to be Michael Porter or whoever. It's going to be Jokic wins the series, or the Clippers lose it because of injuries and whatnot.
Yeah, and Christian and Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon need to show up for those things, because I'm already seeing, bro. This kind of series is kind of series for the Nuggets where, bro, there's going to be a 48 minutes game Jokic plays this series. Like, there's going to be a game where, I'm sorry, bro, you can't go to the bench. There's going to be a game where Aaron Gordon plays 45 minutes. Like, those guys, because that bench is not that good, right? Yeah. And Peyton Watson, I wish his 3-point shot was good. This would be one of the great defenders in the league. He's going to have to show up to. But I feel Aaron Gordon, whatever Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown does defensively will set the tone, and Jokic offensively is going to be the answer. Honestly, even me talking about these things are kind of wishy-washy. At this point, I'm even thinking Clippers in 4. But again, Again, I believe in Jokic so much that I feel this is a different mindset. And I think he's seen the team and just understand that, bro, as I said, all lives don't matter. Only your life matters right now. Bro, just go score. Go score.
Oh my God.
Go figure this thing out on your own, and everyone will come after you, and make the Clippers decide that we can't just leave Zubac on you.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
That's great.
The next series I'm going to pick this series. I am going to say let us talk about the Pacers versus my Bucks.
So
The Pacers versus my Bucks. So we got the news today. Dame is back. I don't know if you guys saw that stuff. Remember when Trump said
this can't go
the
well. This cannot go. I don't even know where this is going. This already can't go well. Keep going.
remember when Trump said the doctors tested my DNA and they saw that it was
I don't know what you're
USA
talking
or
about.
something. Like, someone said the same thing for Dame because Dame is probably one of the quickest guys we've seen come out from a blood cut. And apparently, R.I.P. He lost a cousin to a blood cut in the present in his thigh
Oh,
in recently. I don't think it was that long ago. So Dame also having a blood cut in his thigh too because it was the same kind of injury. It's kind of surprising. But yeah, Dame is back. The Pacers posed a lot of challenges to the Bucks defensively because the Bucks. See, let me just put it this way. I think this is very simple. I have very simple analysis for this. The Bucks' ability to stop dribble penetration is going to win them this series. If they don't stop dribble penetration, it's going to be a 7-gamer or 6-gamer that maybe Giannis can. If they don't stop double penetration, they can still win because this Giannis Antetokounmpo we're saying is looking like he's ready to do whatever. Because this is one of the first few series we're going to see the Bucks healthy in the past 3 years, right? And I feel the Bucks' ability to defend dribble penetration is going to tell a lot about this series. Because I'm going to let you guys go now. If you guys remember, the Bucks were probably there was a Pacers game this season that the Bucks let the Pacers get 33 wide open. And I think the distance, there's a Pacers writer, I don't know her name, but she's an amazing writer for the Pacers.
I know what you're talking about.
The distance between them and the nearest Bucks defender was probably the highest I don't know what it was, maybe the longest distance in NBA history. I can't remember what the stats were, but it was absolutely embarrassing. So the question is, can the Bucks stop dribble penetration? If they can stop dribble penetration, they win this series easily. But if they can't, which I think they would have troubles with, this is going to be just a very possibly a fun first round exit or a series where they quickly can go like win it because Giannis is just awesome. What do we think?
With Dame, first of all, Dame, I'm glad that he's healthy, and the fact that it was like historic, like that he came back this quickly and everything.
Yeah.
The wording of that, I'm like, that is really crazy. But he won't play in game 1. I just think that this Bucks team is very similar to the Nuggets situation, where it's like, Giannis, please, we need you to do everything for us, but for an even worse team, for a team that depends on Kevin Porter Jr. and Kyle Kuzma to play big minutes and score points for them. That's the kind of Bucks team that we're talking about. And I just think the Pacers, since Tyrese had a kind of a wishy-washy start and whatnot, I believe since the new year, they have been one of the best offenses, obviously, and one of the best teams in general. I just think that their bench is also pretty deep. And a guy like Tyrese Halliburton against Kevin Porter Jr., Kyle Kuzma, like I said, even Dame, Gary Trent. Again, cook sesh. We're eating. I just think that Tyrese will be able to kill this Bucks team. And I don't think the Bucks really stand a chance in terms of stopping any sort of dribble penetration or a pick and roll or anything like that. They will get open shots. They will hit open shots. And I just don't really believe in the Bucks much at all. Even when Dame is coming back in game 2, he's not going to be in game shape. He's going to be a little rusty. He's going to probably have a kind of a mid first quarter.
And the fact that no one runs more than that Pacers team, and they're going to make you guys run that much with you guys in the Lord's year 2025 still having Brook Lopez on your team and stuff. There's a belief in me that Giannis just does this. I just believe, if my analysis isn't too much. Giannis just does this because they have no answers for him. And the way he's been playing the last 7 games, where Giannis is just oh, I can be a point guard. oh, give me the ball. I'm going to run everything, and I'm going to have triple
Yeah. I
doubles.
can have 15 assists in a
Yes,
game
yes.
with a triple double.
I'm
Like
going.
what?
I'm going to. I'm going to be a point guard now and just be a athletic version of Jokic and stuff and do all this stuff. It's I, I it's just
Yeah. Giannis's last 10 games, 31 points, 31 and a half points, 11.7 rebounds, and 9.1 assists. I mean, he even made 6 threes in his last 10 games, which is crazy for him because he made 14 the whole season. He made 6 in his last 10 games. Are we going to get Giannis with the threes?
this dude just decided. He just decided to just be like. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be great. It's time for it's playoff time and everything. But as I said, man, yeah, Daye, what do you think about this series and the troubles that the Bucks are going to have against the Pacers?
Oh, I don't have much to offer. I just have one thing to say. I actually do have a lot to offer, but I'm joking. There's only one number to me in this series that matters. It's 2.22. Do you guys have any guess what 2.22 stands for?
No, let's go.
It is the Pacers' assist to turnover number. It's the second highest in the league, only behind OKC. This team doesn't turn the ball over. So the only way you are going to get this team is if you have to score more than them. They don't turn the ball over. You have to go to this team. You have to play this team at home at most 4 times, and your best your best perimeter guy on a day-to-day basis, Dame, has to ramp up. Brooke Lopez is your center, and you need big games out of Kevin Porter Jr. Pacers in 6. I love Giannis. I think Giannis guarantees you 2 wins in this game, in this series, regardless of what it is. This is a very good Pacers team. They are really fast in transition. Uh, their half court offense is great. They have the thing where I say like just having guys Tyrese Siakam, Turner, Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, Andrew Nemhard, Jarice Walker, Thomas Bryant, Aaron Neesmith, Ben Shepherd,
one of my
Quentin
favorite
Johnson, Jerry.
one of my favorites in 3 years is going to be an all-star player is Ben Maturin, who I love.
They have so many things that they can throw at you. Aaron Neesmith is probably I've made this joke that Aaron Neesmith might be the most consistent 3-point shooter. He's not the best. He's the most consistent. He guarantees you 2 to 3 threes a game. Andrew Nemhart did some deputizing to Halliburton when he didn't play in terms of getting the assist. This team still has TJ McConnell. It still has Obi Toppin, who led the league in paint. I think it was paint. It was like no free. It was full goal percentage. He led the league in full goal percentage. Ben Mathurin is going to give you points. Siakam had like a almost like near all NBA type season.
Season.
Miles Turner is still going to be
Oh,
there.
he's going to cook us. Jesus.
He shot 40% from
Jesus.
three on 5.5 attempts a game, and then Halliburton has been incredible. I'm gonna pull up the numbers here, but I don't even need to. He has since the turn of the year, I believe. It's been a revelation almost. I know a lot of people kind of wrote him off, rightfully so, because hype kind of got to a point where it was like, you know, to the point where it was like, if this is too far, we're now pushing this guy into like a territory that he doesn't belong in. But he's been an All NBA player. He's run this offense night in, night out. If he doesn't want to score, he's not going to score. When he does, he will. But the most importantly is that this is a guy who is unselfish, gets his guys involved, and he doesn't care about like, is he going to get the accolades? He's just a guy that is going to get other guys involved. He averaged what 9.2 assists a game on the season. That was third in the league. Since in the playoffs for his career, 18.7 points, 8.2 assists, 4.8 rebounds in 15 games he's played. I'm still trying to pull up the stats he had since the All-Star break. But this is a guy that is just going to get guys to run in possession. He's a willing passer. He's a guy that knows, as a shooter, he has become completely underrated. Shot 38.8% on 7.7 attempts from three. So he's still going to kill you on the perimeter. Uh, this Pacers team is probably the best iteration of their team that I've seen in a while. I think it's better than the team they had last year. And they just have so many guys that they can throw at you, both defensively. Don't even worry about the defense. It doesn't even matter. Because at some point, you need to outscore a team that can put up 150 if it feels like it.
You know what?
I
I'm
have
believing in the power of revenge. The only thing my Bucks have is in the power of revenge. Throw everything, throw the stats, throw everything away. I am believing in the power of revenge because I completely agree with you. The Bucks, like, I don't even know how we've gotten to this point, but honestly, I'm not surprised how we're going to this point. Like, I've been saying this for so many years now about the Bucks. I've laid out the issues so many times. I don't want to go about it. Like, I just don't see how they're going to be able to keep the floor balance. Like, the Pacers don't care. Like, they get every rebound, every made basket is just another turn. And before you know it, Obi Toppin has 8, Ben Mathurin has 12. What's his name? TJ McConnell has 10. Naismith has 10. There's this other dude that is like a center. He's like a power forward or center. He has a dreads. Before you know it, that guy comes in and hit threes. So before you know it, everyone has 10, 10, 10, 15, 10, 8, 10, 10. Before, like, and I'm sorry, the Bucks are probably the worst team to want to play this team because one, the Bucks are not offensively disciplined, and you're not defensively disciplined either. And you don't even have the defensive talent. You don't have the defensive talent. I know you have Giannis. And that's not going to cut it. And I'm going to have to go into a series relying on Kyle Kuzma. For the message, like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's just I just don't know how I see the Bucks winning this series, except from the answer is, you know what? You remember when Davin Ham wrote on his clipboard, defend without fouling, right? if I'm on the Bucks bench, I'm just going to grab this thing, put Giannis there. The only plan is Giannis. I just tell them Giannis. While I hate talking about him because I don't want to talk about him, a guy that must not be named because I feel he shouldn't be in the NBA. The junior guy has been great for the Bucks, and it's very weird to even mention his name because I feel there's no way that dude is in the league, and he's just been great for the Bucks, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, he's been incredible for the Bucks. I'm like, it's so weird because I can't even root for him. I never tweet about him or anything because I'm like, I that's past my moral. I don't care. Like, as much as I love the sport and everything, I don't. There's certain lines that are just like, okay, I can't even speak about this guy. But for some reason, he's been awesome for the Bucks. For some reason, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't even know where this came from. So I agree with Daye, man. I don't know. Elias, can you give us something the Bucks can do? Like, Jesus Christ.
No. I can't give you anything. I can't give you anything the Bucks can do. I said Pacers in 6, but just because, well, I feel bad because I want to see Giannis on a playoff run. I want to see him go to war and just play how he's played in the regular season, in the playoffs, in big games. But this team sucks, and I just don't think they're good enough. Even with Giannis playing how he does, especially if Dame was healthy and he was going into this series and he had played the end of the season and he was playing well, I think we would have a real matchup. I think there would be a real chance. But the fact that Dame is only going to come in game 2 after missing for at least a couple of weeks, and I don't know how long it's been, I just don't see any possibility. I don't want to root for Mr. Junior. I don't think that, well, actually both of them. I don't think Gary Trent, he's cool, but I don't think he's going to be that impactful either. And then I don't want Kyle Kuzma to be like my second or third offensive player for the Bucks. It just is what it is. They're not. I just unless Giannis goes supernova.
Hey,
that's it, and he can. Even then, he can't win completely by himself, and it feels like, I don't know who's going to step up for the Bucks.
And also, I think there's also a coaching gap. I think Rick Carlisle is, as much as I'm not a big Rick Carlisle guy because his demeanor is very negative to a team at certain times, and so because he was a Mavs coach, so I know this. But the coaching gap between him and Doc Rivers is not even like he's just a better coach and everything. And I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. Like, and I'm sorry, man. This guy's going to lose his job at the end of the season. What's his name? Doc Rivers is going to be gone. That's not the point. The guy that's going to lose his job is what's our GM's name?
Brown Hurst?
John Hurst. I think John
Yeah.
Hurst has to lose his job, and it's not because I don't think he's a good GM. I just feel you waited too long. You waited too long, and you got to the point where the team got this way. There were ways to get out of this team 3 years ago. I remember immediately after after the season after we won the championship, I was calling on so many changes. Brook Lopez needed to be gone and stuff. Oh, have hope. Bobby Portis is coming back.
Yay. Yes. I guess.
Sure.
Sure. Are you
Anyways.
are you excited by Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, KPJ, Gary Trent Jr., Giannis lineups? Does that get you off the seat?
I'm saying fast break after fast break.
The only thing
Run the floor.
The only thing I would say is
Push the pace.
Push the pace.
There we go.
The only
We
thing
gotta get it in every episode.
The only thing I would say is the only possibility is, can the Bucks outscore these guys?
No. The answer is no.
That's the only
I don't
possibility.
think so.
And I feel the Bucks are so offensively, they're so ill-disciplined. Kuzma, even Giannis, they're so ill-disciplined. I can see I legit to work the Bucks, and in 5 minutes they do everything perfectly offensively. And you go watch the next 25 minutes of that game, and it's them being idiots and stuff. So this series might just be,
The more I talk about it, the more I'm like, I don't even. I think the only thing that is like stopping me from like turning this into a sweep is the fact that like, Giannis is
it's not going to be a sweep.
different caliber.
It's not going to be a sweep.
I truly think that if the Pacers had a Giannis level player, maybe not Giannis, of course not Giannis. Giannis is like one of the 3 best players in the league, but a player who was like a top 10, top 15 player, I do think this would be a sweep.
And this is one of the things that I don't want to talk about this so much because we need to move to the Detroit and Knicks series. One of the things that pissed me off so much about Doc Rivers is I don't understand your affiliation with veterans when I'm not even an NBA coach. I have no experience at all, right? Like, I'm not going to claim like I know better than these guys. But I look at this series and I know one of the biggest issues we're going to have is dribble penetration. And the way he's treated Andre Jackson Jr. is so ridiculous because that is the only defender. We saw what he did to Shea in the NBA Cup. Like, that is the only defender that will, if he plays, and I swear to God, he's the one guy that can take Halliburton out of the game completely because he's a terrific defender as a second-year player. And the fact that you guys don't invest in him as a player and go through the season, develop him, let him go through all the phases of missing shots, being completely open because teams are going to leave him open and everything. But he's your most athletic guy. He's your best defender, like your best perimeter defender that's defended against the best offensive players. And I feel if in this series he was going to play meaningful minutes, this is a guy that could get you freaking wins and stuff. But no, he's not. He's going to barely play this series. He may not even play. And it's the most stupid thing ever because I'm like, why are you Bucks relying again? As I said, I mentioned Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. These guys are like 50 years old plus, like 60 plus years of age and stuff like that. I'm like, what are we doing here? So yeah, man, the Bucks depress me, man. Jesus Christ.
Very last thing before we go on, I did finally get the Halliburton stuff. 20 points, 11 assists, 3.5 rebounds since the All-Star break. Pretty much put up a double-double in every single game. 18 assists, 15 assists, 15, 15, 14, 12, 12, 12, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. That was 17 games with at least 10 or more assists.
Didn't Halliburton he beat like a record with like the most amount of double-digit assist games
without turnovers? He beat Chris Paul. He beat Chris Paul.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
So good luck to that team in trying to get the ball out of the hands of a guy that doesn't turn the ball over.
Hey man, fear the day.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Anyway, we've spoken about a lot of other series, but I think this might be the most fun series. Fun, not.
Oh wait, time out. Let's get a quick so then we don't have all these guys at the end. Let's get OKC versus whoever, Cavs versus whoever.
Okay,
I think both of them are going to be sweeps.
Okay.
I don't care who it is.
Let's just move. Okay, Daye. Daye, let's move to
Yeah.
those Sunday games and just
Yeah.
like honestly, I'm not spending too much time on this. That's it. Oh, listen, hey, Elias, watch your mouth. My Mavs have something for OKC. Don't
Oh
even play.
please. Oh
Don't
please.
even.
Oh please. Oh please. Oh please. Oh please.
I'm
Oh please.
telling you
Nobody's listening to
guys.
that, man. Nobody's
I'm
listening.
telling you guys.
Nobody's
Trust
listening
me.
to that, man.
OKC doesn't want to
I'm
see
not
my
interested.
Mavs.
No, yes, they
OKC
do.
doesn't want to
They
see.
absolutely do.
OKC is gonna beat the Mavs so bad it's gonna be the first ever win in 3 games instead of
Yeah.
4. They're gonna forfeit the 4th game.
Nico
Okay.
Harrison is
They don't even
gonna
need
trade
that.
away the fourth game for a future game somewhere down the line.
Daye,
Oh my goodness.
what you want to say something? Let's just run through the. I don't want to. So there are 2 games
Yeah,
we need to focus on, but let's run
sure.
through those 3 games on Sunday that you want to. You
Yeah.
want to say something about Celtics
I
Magic?
will do my Celtics thing really quickly. I really shout out to the Magic this season for somehow having a 500 record and still winning the Southeast Division or whatever division that they are in.
The East is so
Which
terrible,
is
man.
which is basically like all I have to say about that series. Boston is going to win in 4 games.
In one,
Orlando,
in one,
yeah,
in one.
they're gonna shout out to like the Magic. Like for me, the Magic should be happy if they can like not lose by 15 points when they go to Madison Square Garden.
The
That should
Magic,
be like
the Magic should be happy if they can win 1 quarter.
I don't think they will even be able to do that. Boston is going to absolutely dominate this team. Tatum has been great. Derek White has been great. Jaylen Brown has been great. Pritchard's been great. Holiday's been great. Porzingis has been great. Luke Cornett has been great. Orlando has no bench. It has no real scoring. It has no defense. Its defense is pretty good. It's a defense that does not have to play Boston 4 times.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. In
Can we
the 3
like
games,
can we just like send something to like Adam Silver like when this series ends in like after game 2, can they just not play the
I
next
don't
2
even want
games?
them to play game 1. I just want them to like tell the Magic to just go home. This is the talent disparity between these 2 teams. It's quite scary. Shout out to Bankera as well, who like played a really good season. Boston's gonna put him in hell. They're gonna switch everything on him, and he's going to cry for a whole series.
Yeah.
Shout out to that. So yeah, we can get past that. So then what? OKC, I guess.
Cleveland Hawks, Heat, whatever.
Cleveland Hawks. Oh, it does.
Yeah.
You guys didn't realize. Shout out Trae Young, who is 3 for 14 right now. Just an incredible guy. I would love to see him do that against the Cavs before they absolutely obliterate them. The Cavs are going to win in 4 as well. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on either of those series.
No, you're
Perfect.
good.
Okay.
No.
So then we're left.
My Mavericks. I want to
God.
chime in. My
Um,
Mavericks
sure.
have something for the OKC Thunder.
Sure. Go ahead.
Defense.
Killer
Winning
Kid.
championships.
Listen, Killer Kid is coming for the OKC Thunder. Trust me, they can't deal with PJ Washington. They can't deal with our size.
Yes, they
Trust
can.
me.
Yes,
Trust
they
me.
Right. Right.
And I don't even know who's like Lou Dort's gonna. Lou Dort's probably just gonna take the series off.
Ludus is going to be like, man, I used to have to guard Kyrie, Luka. Like, what am I going to?
They're
Like,
looking around like what? Who you got?
no,
I was literally listening to Bill Simmons earlier, and he was talking about that series. Like whoever OKC is going against is like Lou Dort's like, I can't guard any of these guys. They're too mediocre. Like I was supposed to be guarding the best player.
But you know one thing I would say though, we beat them 3 times this season without Luka.
Oh, whatever. Oh,
Listen to me. They better not lose game 1 at home. Because if they lose game 1 at home, they are going to have a series on their hand.
Scary hours.
I think they'll be fine.
Trust me. Defense wins championships.
Rockets Warriors are actually the one game that's actually interesting.
So those 2.
I'm very interested.
So
in
right
this
now,
series.
we have 2 series to focus on: the Pistons, Knicks, Houston Rockets, Warriors. Where do you want to go first? Where do you want to go first? You get the pick. Yeah, you're the guest.
Which one do you think will be quicker?
Quicker?
So we'll save the best for last.
Oh,
That's a hard one though.
Really? I don't know.
quicker? That's a good question.
I think
Bro, people step
personally,
into.
I think Cavs Knicks will be quicker.
No. Pistons next. You mean?
Pistons next.
Yeah. But yeah, Pistons next. Why did
No,
I write
bro.
Cavs?
I'm being serious. People step into Madison Square Garden and want to prove the world of this thing. Like the Knicks have a switch where they sometimes just wilt, and we don't know where Jalen Brunson is. Like I feel if Jalen Brunson was like peak physical shape because he just came back from an injury. I feel if Brunson was like at the top of his game in terms of like health, maybe this is a series, like really short
Yeah.
series. But
I think I want to start with Rocket's words,
okay, let's go.
Okay.
just because I can see a couple of different outcomes. I don't even want to talk about the words. I just want to talk about Houston. Um, this has been a revelation of a series for the Rockets this season. Uh, Firstly, let's just start with the thing that I think is the absolute coolest thing about this team. Amen freaking Thompson. Amen Thompson on the season, 14 points, 8.2 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 1.4 steals, 1.3 blocks in 32 minutes, shooting 55.7% field goal, 60% true shooting, and the free throw stuff and the 3-point shooting has not come around. Guys, I think we might be looking at. So there was a time I wanted to debut an idea with you guys a while ago, and this is when Amin kind of still broke on the scene. And unfortunately, he's now lapped the guy I wanted to include in what I'm debuting as a new archetype of NBA player. I'm calling them Terminators. And the other guy that I think fits this mold, they're not gonna love this, Sammy, is Scotty freaking Barnes.
I agree.
The Terminator mold. The
I agree.
Terminator mold is what I want to debut as these players who are these like huge, massive wings who play like guards, who are fast as hell in transition and are ridiculously good defenders. Amen Thompson has overnight, it feels like overnight, turned himself from a decent role player to like a second first option on a championship. Like, if everything goes right, that is what we're talking about. This guy has completely changed my perspective on what feels like guys that can't shoot. Because for a long time, I had a serious criticism about guys. Russ is the name that comes to mind of guys who just cannot shoot.
Yeah.
For the life of them, cannot shoot. Now, I think guys like Aaron and Scotty have made this mold a little bit more fun because they make this serious, serious commitment on defense that is absolutely scary. They are erasers who can guard 1 through 5, who can work on the weak side, who are shot blockers, who deflect. They do everything for you defensively, and then on the offense, they simplify the game by getting to the basket, being ball handlers, and being smart decision makers in transition. Amen has taken a further leap than I think. I think Scotty still has a few things to figure out, but he's not the focus of our conversation here. We're going to focus on Amen, who might be, if there's like a breakout of the year award, this is the guy who's won it. He is so fun to watch. I just you watch any of the highlights, he is killing in transition. The handle is tight as hell. He's a incredible decision maker in terms of how he knows how to read the game, and the defense is so fucking scary. Shout out to Steph, who needs to figure out how to get past a team that can throw Amin Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason at you at any given time, and then is still going to run that wicked double big lineup of having Shengun and
And
Steven
Steven
Adams
Adams.
together. This Rockets team is scary. Of course, the concern is going to be like half court offense.
And
I'm really
and
Yeah.
worried about like,
and Jalen Green.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Jalen Green. I'm really worried about like where the offense comes at times during this series. I have no concerns whatsoever about the defense. This team is legit. It is probably, I saw a stat the other day that this is probably one of the greatest rebounding teams, like not of the last 20 years, not like of all time. It is one of the greatest rebounding teams of
Because you have
all time.
you have rebounders outside of Jalen
You
Green.
have
Everyone.
rebounders.
Yeah.
Everyone is. Amen is a great rebounder. Tari Eason is a great rebounder. Steven Adams is a great rebounder. Şengün still gets his. Dylan Brooks for his size. Even FVV, Fred VanVleet is still
Is a
like,
good
for his
rebounder.
size, is a good rebounder. They were first in the league in rebounding. It is a team that you absolutely do not want to see defensively because the amount of things they can throw at you in terms of switching, in terms of, if you go into the if you try to attack them in the paint, they have these two massive bigs who are going to bully you in every way possible. They have a coach who is as intelligent schematically, gets his guys to buy in, gives a fuck about what guys do on defense. The scoring isn't great,
The
it's
scoring is going to be
the
the this
scoring
thing.
is going to be
But
the
that's
concern with this
where
team.
the rebounding has to play a factor for them. They need
Yep.
to
Yeah,
get
definitely.
they're going to get extra possessions.
Their
They're going
size.
to
I
go.
think their size has to
They
really
are
play a part against
massive.
the Warriors
They
because
are
they
a
are big
massive.
and the Warriors play very small.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. No, I
So
definitely agree.
this is probably one of the few series that I think that you could give me like any outcome and I would be like, if you
I
told me
would.
that if you told me the Rockets sweep, I believe you. If you told me the Warriors sweep, I believe you. If you told me for 7 game series, I believe you. If you told me one team 1-6, I believe you. There are so many different outcomes in terms of what can happen here that I'm genuinely like, I'm so fascinated by everything that is going to happen in this series. I don't even want to cover the Warriors because I think you guys will probably get to it. But I just really wanted to highlight what this season was for the Rockets, because to make the leap they've made without, they've not given up, mind you, they've not gone their like trade, the big trade that every team that's in this position has done. They still are going to evaluate this team in the offseason and see if they can go after a player. I'm praying they don't have to go after KD. Please, please, please. Just wait. I feel like they could wait, and there's going to be a superstar who's going to become available who they can go after. But if your core guys is Allen,
Giannis.
Giannis would make this team like a perennial contender for the next however long.
I can imagine a Shengun and Giannis front line.
Exactly. So this this is just a team that just, and then mind you, on the fringes of this team, you still have Cam Whitmore, you still have Jabari Smith Jr. Aaron Holiday is still
Jabari
a
has to play
solid
a
guy.
big role, I
Jabari,
think.
Exactly.
His
I've
shooting,
said it.
his defense, his
I've
rebounding.
Elias, I've said it so many times, and people might not agree with me. One of the most talented players on that team, and for me, a top 3 talented player on that team is Jabari Smith Jr. And I
He's
and and
incredible.
and I don't welcome the fact that he's not a starter on this team, because I feel if you guys want to go to the next level, you play that guy whatever amount of minutes he's in, and you also champion, because one of the things I criticize about Jabari, and it's not really a critique, it's just the fact he's a young player, is he plays shy. He plays very shy, and I feel the Rockets need to enable him and give him more responsibility and tell him, bro, you are this good, because that dude defensively is a problem. He has a great shot. Like, I remember his rookie season, he didn't have a great shooting year, but I was looking at all his shots. I'm like, that's an amazing shot. Like, every shot looked pure, perfect. Like, I was like, oh, like, I feel Jabari is the, whenever the Rockets thing take off, like where they have become like an OKC and everything, I feel it would be I feel for them to get to that point as quickly as get to, it's going to really bank on, except like depending on if they get a superstar or not, who knows. But I'm saying if this core remains together and they make that leap, it's going to be because Jabari Smith Jr. has taken the leap in his development. And I feel it's on the Rockets to champion him and give him that confidence of stop being shy. He's a very shy player. Like, and it's not a bad thing, it's just how it is and everything. But I know Elias wants to talk about Emin Thompson, so let's talk about that
I
matchup.
I love Amen, bro. I love everything we've been saying. One of the biggest things is the size of the Rockets, but I think this series will come down to 2 matchups. It's going to be Amen and Curry, and then Şengün and Draymond, because of the Rockets' struggle in the half court offense. Bill Simmons, when I was listening today, pointed out, like, in the last 3 minutes, like, who are we going for a shot? Like, is it going to be Jalen Green? Is it? I mean, it should be Şengün, but he's not like
Uh,
gonna create on the perimeter or something like that. But I just think his matchup with Draymond is going to be very, very interesting, because obviously Draymond is a great defender, and Draymond, like, Şengün is like he's a big, but he's not like 7 foot, and then Draymond loves playing against guys. I mean, he's an amazing defender at the rim and all that, like very smart guy. I'm very curious to see how Şengün works out, having to go against a Draymond, and then obviously a Men, just an incredible athlete. This guy and Asar probably too are like definitely the best athletes in the NBA. Like they run the way I've seen so many clips of him recovering in a fast break, getting a block against somebody, just like the space he covers. And I know you tweeted about this, Sammy, with like Scottie Pippen Jr. in that game against the Warriors. Like he played well, but playing against Curry, you're gonna get tired. He's gonna be able to get over his screen like you are. Mint Thompson, I think, is probably one of the best players in the league that you could put on a Steph Curry and be like, okay, Steph, keep running. He will be right behind you. He will be on your tails the entire time. So I just think the way that both those matchups, like whoever gets the upper hand in those, will really determine the series. Like I didn't even make a prediction. All I wrote, every other team I made a prediction. This one I wrote 7 games. I don't know who, because while I agree, like the Rockets defense is so good, I am a little worried about how they will play in the half court offense, especially in a close game with a veteran team like Curry and Jimmy Butler, which we have yet to mention, who looked amazing in the play-in game. Like that's the Jimmy Butler that they need. And the Rockets do have defenders for Jimmy, but he will get his fouls. He will get his 10 free throws no matter what. So I just think
I think a big thing for this is going to be at the end of the series, we're going to look, if Houston wins, they took Jimmy out of the game. If Warriors win, Jimmy was incredible. That's how I feel about the series. Genuinely, because as you guys said, the defense is just ridiculously great. And if there's a coach that can match, if there's a coach that can put his team in a certain place where they stick, like we know what, like Houston's defense is going to show up. Like they're going to show up. That's just not going to be the question. Like I think there's not going to be any worry about if they show up or don't show up. It's just going to be that offense, and it's going to be the fact of the matter is when Şengün is off the floor. Are you guys putting yourself in trouble when Steven Adams and Şengün is on the floor, because Steph Curry is going to want his dance with Steven Adams? How are you guys going to deal with that, right? Is that viable? Is that, because the reason why that's important question is if it's viable, the amount of times they can put Steven Adams on the floor is also going to be important, because if he stays on the floor a lot, it's going to be great for them, because now they're able to, their deficiencies offensively is going to be like curbed, because now you're getting more possessions and all. And that's going to be a big thing for them. How much can Steven Adams be on the floor? Because that's where they gain the size and stuff like that. I was going to say something about who gets their first ejection or first tech. No, let's predict first tech. Who gets the first tech? Dylan Brooks or
Draymond?
Draymond? Who gets the first tech?
I think it's Draymond.
Probably going to Draymond.
To be honest,
okay. Who gets ejected first?
Oh, Dylan Brooks. I actually still think it's Dylan.
Because I think Draymond gets a soft whistle in this league. The things he be saying, he be doing. I was gonna say, one of the things I remembered was Şengün against Draymond. Draymond is one of the most incredible defenders I've ever seen, because it's rare that guys, their presence. I've seen how Draymond appears in a possession, and before that ball handler and whatever play you want to run, he doesn't even have to use his hands or anything. I see how teams start overthinking once Draymond is around the scene, and he's such an incredible defender. But the one thing Şengün has over guys that match up against Draymond is it's just like what Kyrie has to great perimeter defenders. Perimeter defenders, someone like Drew Holiday is amazing and stuff when you're a guy that has one move or two move, Like Drew Holiday is like, that's easy. Like, but Şengün is a post player that has counters, right?
Yeah.
A good example is, I don't think Zubac is there yet. But if Zubac faces off against Draymond, or if there's a Clippers and Golden State series, I feel Draymond is the type of guy that can take big guys away because they don't have counter moves for Draymond. But Şengün is the one guy that will post, fade. His pivot foot and his post game is so incredible that he's able to catch Draymond because he has multiple moves to go to. So that's where I feel the Rockets have to definitely take advantage. And Şengün's play is going to be big because Jalen Green has not. I think this is the kind of matchup that he might that dude might just wilt. I don't trust him in this kind of matchup. I don't trust him in this kind of matchup. I trust Amen Thompson more. I trust Dylan Brooks more. I trust, like, as far as Dylan Brooks does not start taking shots that he's not meant to take, we'll be fine. Like, please don't take shots that you need to take. But Şengün, I trust. Eamon, I trust. Jalen Green has to prove to us that, bro, we can go into a series and trust you about this thing, because this is going to really tell, like, about, like, what, because, bro, the I keep saying the playoffs are just like, every time I'm always like, man, who am I going to war with? It's really always simple like that, right? I remember Daye last year playoffs was killing me about when I was like, at the end of the day, I'm going to every of you guys' arena with Kyrie and Luka, and I'm not scared. And I know your fans and I know your players are worried about that, right? Golden State, I'm sorry, the when they're game planning for Jalen Green, it's going to be one or two bullet points. Trust me, it's not going to be that long. It's not going to, like, he's not yet gotten there, right? And this is one of the things that comes up with, like, you can think about a game plan when you have Jokic, when you have Giannis. Like, it becomes stop this. Like, Jalen Green is not going to that point. Şengün is, for me, their best player, and that's where I trust him the more to, like, show up. I think he may not have, like, great, bro. How many people have great shooting numbers in the playoffs? It's the playoffs. It's hard. It's hard as fuck, and I just don't think Jalen Green is going to the point where he's going to answer those calls. Fred VanVleet has to be his best version, playmaking wise and all. And it's going to be, as I agree, I'll just pencil in 7 games and we'll see what happens. Or it could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 4, because, man, these young teams too, man, those lights, bro, those lights are bright. Those lights are bright. And do you know my biggest fear? And I don't know, this is something I probably want to write about, because it's not going to be a very long thing to write about. One of my biggest fear for young teams, and even teams that I've supported, is when we are playing at home, right? When we're playing, obviously everybody's like home court advantage, but the home court disadvantage is when you have a bad offense and your fans start gasping because you guys are missing everything. And I've seen so many playoff games where that thing sips into the players, even experienced guys, where your fans, every shot, it's like, like they're like, that becomes a disadvantage, like anything that I've ever seen in the NBA, where when your home court becomes depressed because you guys are missing shots too much, then that's where you see Steph Curry. Like, you can imagine when Steph Curry starts making those tough shots, before you know, the home courts are, oh shit, oh shit. That sips into your players. So the Rockets need to take care. The Rockets need to take care of business. You can't split it. I'm sorry, you cannot split it. You can't split it and go to San Francisco. Get your 2 wins. Please get your 2 wins. Like, I've never seen, especially for them, it's going to build their confidence. You can't split it. You must not go 0-1 zip down. 2. If you want to split the second game. You cannot on any circumstances go 0-1 zip down and stuff like that. I think, especially for a young team, there's a young team. But one thing that we can say is they have a coach that I know that is going to put a lot of confidence in them, and they're not going to be scared of anything. This team is not going to be scared of anything. And we're going to see how it plays out. We're going to see how it plays out. It's going to be it's going to be a series I have my eyes upon. And I think I like series that I have no ties to. This is the type of series I really have no ties to. I'm like, I can sit down and just enjoy myself and figure out about the game. So is there anything we want to add more before we go to Knicks Detroit?
I think the final thing for me here is just like, for Houston, is just, I think we've already touched on it, but it's about stopping Steph, who, since the Jimmy trade, has just been, he's been as good as he's ever been. All NBA caliber player. That's still a guy that's, like, I remember the game against Memphis where he had 52, 12 threes. Like, that's still a guy that at any given time is just going to explode. And it just feels like, my fear for Houston is that if these games, Houston is going to really struggle, because if these games are tight, last 3 minutes, I have Steph Curry, you don't.
I have
fucking luck.
They have Jimmy Butler.
You have Jimmy Butler. You have 2 guys who, in terms of closing, they already have the two better guys in terms of closing, and that would really worry me if I was a Rockets fan because I would really be fearful of just having to go against those guys who are just dialed in, playoff tested, playoff battle, guys who've been to the finals, guys who've this is essentially the like perfect experiment of experience versus youth. Like
Yes.
what do you trust? That's what this series is. Do you
Yes.
trust the experience or do you trust the young, untested, ready team?
Mm-hmm.
And if Houston can do its best to get stops, you have to get stops. You have to kill them on the glass,
Run them
and you
ragged.
can't run them
Run.
ragged. If you can run step off the line, as difficult as that is, you have to do it because that guy, once he gets his first 2, 3, 4 threes to
God.
fall,
God.
you don't have a chance on earth, no matter who is guarding him. Amen is a great defender. He is going to have a really hard series. Like I think they're going to take the offensive burden completely off him. But
Yeah.
they're just like, which would also scare me again as a Rockets guy because I want that guy to be involved in the offense. But
The
there's such a big responsibility for him, and he
one
has to be dialed in on that end the
one of
whole
the
game.
things I hate when you go against Jimmy Butler that I hate is you guys already know it's going to happen. Every game he's going to have that one blind steal to a fast break dunk that he always has. He's going to have that slip that you will now foul him on that gives you an N1, 3 minutes to end the game or something. Like that dude is one of I've never seen someone play basketball in such a it's such an unimpressive way to play basketball, but it's so incredible at the same. It's like I've never. He plays the game so weird. Like you just be like,
It's very basic.
it's very
almost.
basic. It's like the
Yeah.
basic.
Nothing special.
It's the
But it's
most.
so
But
clean.
it works.
It's
It's
so
so clean.
and this time of the season, every time he goes to the rim, he's scoring. And every time he goes to the rim, you scoring and you're fouling him. You're scoring and you're fouling him. It's like it's just insane. And I feel, as I said, are we going with the veteran leadership? Are we going with the veteran? These guys that have been in every single type of game, or this young Rockets team that we see that has a lot of potential. And one of the things that was very big for me, and Ime Udoka is probably going to kill them for it. Did you guys see that they played? Ime rested them against the Lakers and played all their guys against Nuggets, and they go blown out. And Ime played that. Reason why he played them for that game was for them to like, it's time to wake up. We're about to get playoffs, and you guys got blown out of the building. So that was a bad sign for them. Obviously, Nuggets needed to win the game too and everything, but that was Ime was testing them and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, bro, if you're not ready to be here, Steph Curry's gonna wave you bye bye and put a good night on you. But
Yeah.
I believe this series is gonna be a hard fought series. It's just that offense is going to be
It
the
would worry me
question.
so much. So
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one on the docket. Where are we going with our New York Knicks? Because I think this may be this may be the most hilarious. Like, you know, those kind of. Do you guys remember the Memphis Timberwolves series 3 years ago? That was one of the most stupid basketball that was ever played in the history of. That was the most stupid series ever. Like I've never seen a series that every one quarter the person who could have won the series like it was the most ridiculous series ever. And I feel the Knicks guys, at the end of this season, Tom Thibodeau is going to lose his job. So let me just tell you right now. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to get fired from the New York Knicks job because whatever happens, they're playing the Celtics and they're going to get beaten up against the Celtics too if they win the series. But if they lose this series, he's definitely getting fired. That's just 100% and all. So the question for us is, where do we see this series going, and how do the Pistons win this series?
I don't know if they do, to be honest. I'm thinking Knicks in 6 just because like the Knicks will dial in onto Cade Cunningham. Congratulations, you made it here. You had a great season. You're gonna be all NBA, but you will have to beat us every single game if you want the Pistons to continue because I just don't see like the other people around having enough of an offensive impact to like get through these Knicks. Like I know the Knicks have their issues; they're not super deep and whatnot. But because they're not super deep, that means OG Anunoby will be on Mr. Cade Cunningham the whole game. They'll get Mikal Bridges on him. They'll get Josh Hart on him. Like, he will see the best defenders on the Knicks basically the entire game. Like, he's not going to get a break. So I just don't believe enough in the others outside of Cade. Like a Tobias Harris. Like, you want to talk about Harden playoff woes. We got Tobias Harris on our team, a Tim Hardaway Jr., which is he's a good player, but this is a guy who can have disgusting type of games.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to believe in, Ron Holland.
Even Malik Beasley has his issues in the playoffs too. So.
Yeah, or Asar Thompson. Like, he's good, but obviously just offensively, I don't know if there's enough. And Daye is gone.
Daye is gone. It's fine. He's probably join us. I'll text him. He could join us. You can keep on going on this.
No, but that's I'm just like, I don't know. I just think the offense for the Knicks is too much. I think the defense, like, they're not a crazy good defensive team, obviously, with a Cat at center, but I think who they can put on Cade will be enough to somewhat slow him down, and I just don't believe in everybody else on the Pistons.
The one thing I believe in is Isaiah Stewart will get an injection. That will happen.
It's gonna be, when you talk about like fun, like just crazy game. It's gonna be very.
It might end in 4. It might end in 4, but I'm going to have fun watching that. The question is if Cade is ready to step up onto this level. I feel Cade is. This is gonna be a stage. Like, I think he has the most. Yeah. This is gonna be a stage. He has the most to gain, and I've compared his game a lot to Luka because there's a lot of, while he's more athletic and dunks on people and everything, but the style of play, the pace. I feel he's still figuring out the playmaking aspect of everything he needs to do, but he's still figuring out the playmaking aspect of everything he needs to do, but the pace he still plays with is that Luka style. And we're going to see. I think the playoffs favor that kind of style. And how much can you actuate your teammates, because that's going to be the biggest thing for him, right?
Yeah.
The Knicks might be like, bro, you want to get 35? Cool. We're going to make sure none of these guys get anything. Right?
Like, honestly, I could see Cade having like 30-point games. He might even get 10 assists, but he'll do that on 20, 25 shots.
Yeah.
Got a couple turnovers. Like, he's going to have to do everything, and he's going to have some slip-ups and whatnot.
So it's a question of what kind of slip-ups are you going to have? What's the limit of the slip-ups you're going to have? I think that's going to be the big thing for him, because he's going to see that coverage and it's going to answer a lot of questions of what he is as a player. I feel the style, the pace he plays with, the way he uses his strength is very amazing. But now you're facing tough, and in a way, it kind of reminds me of Luka's first playoff series where he had to face Patrick Beverley, Marcus Morris, Kawhi, Paul George, and he answered the call, and all those guys got it from him, and he didn't care what kind of. And I remember that series, he started with 5 turnovers in the first quarter, and I was like, like this was his first series as the second year. And that second quarter he ended the game with 42 and stuff like that. He won 2 games, I think we went to a game 6 or game 7 in that series and stuff like that. So this is the kind of thing where it's like, hey, it's going to be more like he has a lot to win, and it's not going to be a shame if the Detroit Pistons win 2 games or 3 games. Like, it's not going to be a shame or anything. Yeah. But for the Knicks, it's very simple. You better win. You better win.
Yeah.
You better win. Like, there's no even excuse. You better win. Because if you don't win, this whole project and this amount of assets and everything, for me, like, it's the kind of case that, like, I don't see how it's redeemable if you don't win. I don't see how it's redeemable.
There's not that much improvement you can do if you don't win.
Yes.
Like, you can't really trade a lot of these guys. You can't trade a Mikal. You can't trade a Cat who you just got. Obviously, can't trade Brunson. Like, there's not a lot of stuff on the outside that you can add to this team.
And I don't know if you guys know, but there are certain teams where this has happened like in recent years. There's certain teams that you never want to have that stain on you that we can never take you seriously. Or you never want to be in that select group of teams where they're like, oh, when playoffs come, we know what you guys are gonna do. Like you never want to be in that phase. And a good example is OKC. Like depending on how OKC goes out, they may fall into that group of people where everybody's like, okay, whatever. Like we're going to like you get your regular season wins. We don't really give up. We know in the playoffs you're not going to show. The Clippers had that too, right? So you become that kind of team, and the Knicks, one, you gotta beat Detroit. We don't like honestly. You remember when you're like, oh, you just have 7 games here. It's like I don't care how you do it. Beat Detroit. It's simple. It's just simple. Then two, you have to go out. You have to go out guns blazing against the Celtics. You cannot go down like a wimp against the Celtics. That's literally it for them and stuff like that. But it's just going to be a fun series, and this may be a fun series that ends in 1 or ends in 2. Who knows? But Jalen Brunson's health is very important because the Knicks can't run anything. The Knicks can't run anything consistently without that guy.
Without that guy.
Yeah,
He's gonna
I
step
just
up.
have a few concerns for Detroit that
Daye.
like are real things. Firstly is the Cat Jalen Duren matchup. Jalen Duren Jalen Duren is like one of my. I've had stocks in Jalen Duren since like
Oof,
the very beginning. I don't think I've like ever like if you have Jalen Duren stock and you're trying to sell it, like sell it to me. I will buy. I will buy all your okay, whatever. I will buy all your Jalen Duren stock.
Tesla.
I've been so invested in everything that he is in terms of the offense. I think he's a really good rebounder. I do think that there is some part of his games that there's still a level of immaturity, especially defensively. You know, he's not perfect. The free throw stuff, of course, isn't perfect. But he's just such an interesting player. In terms of how he gets to the basket, he's just a physical presence, and he's a guy that gets you extra possessions. All that said, Jalen Duren is going to have to chase Karl Anthony Towns off the line for an entire series. Good fucking luck. I have no belief in that
He's
whatsoever.
going
I
to get
think that Cat is
destroyed.
actually going to make his life
He's
a
going to get
complete
destroyed.
hell. Whether that's on the block, at the line, like
Hell.
Cat is going to have so much fun this entire series, just finding and picking his points and every single thing that he can do. And then you just keep going down the Detroit roster and it gets worse and worse and worse as like
That's
I'm
why we
looking at
have
the
Isaiah
roster.
Stewart.
I'm looking at
That's
the
why we
roster.
have Isaiah
Deshaun
Stewart.
Thompson, like,
Don't
the
worry.
best
Don't
player.
worry about that. Don't
He's
worry
already
about
at.
that.
But like, come on, man. He's a first year guy. Like,
I actually
we're
think
talking
Ron
about, like,
Holland is
if
so
Ron
good.
Hall, like, are you going to war with Ron Holland? Like it's
Yeah.
just
You want to believe in Tobias Harris?
I'm going-
You want to believe in Dennis Schroeder?
Wait.
in the
Did you
playoffs?
say war?
whatever, man.
If this is
Like-
war, I'm going with
like,
Isaiah Stewart.
I'm just
Bring me
really
Isaiah Stewart
concerned,
over anyone.
The moment, like of course, the Knicks bench. I don't think the Knicks are deep per se, but like we're talking about Coach Tibbs here. It doesn't matter if they're deep. Like they're going. Josh Hart is probably going to play 48 minutes the entire series. Like Mikal
Yeah.
Bridges is going to play as much as possible. Jalen Brunson, like Kyle Towns, OG. They can still rely on Miles McBride. Campaign had a really good season, So there's still like guys there.
I think it's very important for the Knicks also confidence wise. They need to beat the Pistons heads in, like beat them like without any like don't go a 6, don't, because if you show those vulnerabilities and all, it's gonna be
And that's
bad
another
against them.
thing
Like
we
they need to
even
like
touched
beat
on.
their heads in, like
Detroit would have
get
to
them
go
out
to
of here.
in order to win this series. Detroit would have to go to MSG 4 times. It can be sweet, but like we're talking about
MSG is sweet for
a good
opponents
Knicks
though.
team,
Let's be
MSG,
serious.
with Jalen Brunson, who's like the king of New York. I really, truly, truly do not want to have like if you're especially for a guy like King who's he's not a battle tested like guard. Cade has been great this season. He's not battle tested. He hasn't been to war. I'm pretty sure this is his first playoff series.
He's not battle tested yet.
First playoff series at MSG. He's probably going to. I don't think there's professional basketball players that get nervous per se. But if there's a game that you really do not want to have, like going to MSG in your first game, and Cade is the kind of guy that kind of gets in his head a little bit too much in terms of like the amount of shots he takes. He takes a lot ish. He takes a lot of shots.
He takes, yeah. I saw that in person. He he kind of like that's the thing. He kind of forgets he's a great playmaker a lot of times. I was watching the game against I can't remember the game we played. The games against the Washington Wizards. Yeah, the Wizards won that game, and a lot of it came from Cade just the second quarter and third quarter just forgetting that, dude, you're a playmaker and your job is to actuate your teammates and stuff like that, right? And he, as I completely agree, he
Takes way
takes
too many
he
shots.
takes
So
too many
that
shots.
that
There's
would
just
be
sometimes
my
where he just
worry.
takes too many shots and stuff, right? So
As a Pistons fan, I just don't think. I think they're about a year or two too early. I would still like a situation whereby we can still go out, we can still get options. Like I think they're going to be a kind of team that, like, if they lose in the first round, I could see them going out and getting somebody because Cade is not like an all NBA type of guy. You can still bank on he's still on. Has he signed? He signed the big
yeah.
extension, right? The poison pill, like 200. So this is the time to go out, get options, get guys beside
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah, I'm pretty
You
sure.
need to. Usama is going to come along, like, but the roster just doesn't feel deep. Of course, Jaden is going to be back next year, but I think there's too much there, and I think that facing a Knicks team that
Yeah.
needs to win, that wants to win, that has to win, and it needs to win comfortably. Um, I'm going for. I actually do think the Knicks are going to sweep them. I think this could get ugly,
Knicks in
especially if
3.
Brunson comes back.
Uh,
You know,
yeah, I feel this could. I feel this could get ugly. So you know what? But I want for my, as I said, I was in Windsor. I was 20 something minutes away from the stadium. For my Detroit, like my Detroit fans, I want this to be. I want this to be like serious.
I
Like,
think it could
I
be
want it
at
to be
least a
long. I want the
competitive
series to be
sweep.
bubbling. But yeah,
Like
man, this might
I
end
don't think
so
they're going to
quick.
like lie down.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, they're not going to lie. They're
Yeah,
never not going to lie
I
down.
can see that. I
And
could definitely
yeah,
see
I'm
that.
just going to
So
as I
I
still
think Cade can win them one game.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. The one thing I would say is after game 2, we're going to be coming back here and saying bye bye to some teams. Some teams need to go to. We need to get them to Cancun because I'm sure we're going to see certain series and you're just going to be like, okay, these teams are no
they
longer
didn't have a
here
great.
for.
That's the worst
We
part.
already
That's the
said
worst
bye bye
part. They
to
didn't have a
Orlando
great season.
Magic. You had a
That's the
great
worst
season.
part.
You had a
They had
great.
a season.
Had an awesome.
They had a season. They
They
had a
did have a
season.
great season. Sorry, they had a great season. They had a great season last year. They had a
You had
season.
a season.
They had a season.
I was going. I
Now
was
it's
even
time
going
to.
to. I was
We
even
should
going
say
to say
bye
like
bye to all the
Hawks.
teams
Hawks,
playing right
do you,
now
can you
and
Oh
guess
later
no
who
no
tonight.
the
no
scorer of that game is right
no
now?
no 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 no
Nope.
no.
I am.
Ricochet.
No.
Jesus.
I'm looking at it. I
You're
know
never
who
gonna
it
guess.
is.
That's how bad it is.
Tyler Hero.
Nope. Nope.
Jesus. Hayward.
Okongwu.
Haywood. Damn. Is that bad, huh?
It's an Atlanta player.
Okongwu.
No. I'm good.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No.
Do you want to watch that?
My
Oh,
Nigerian.
You want to watch 20 points by Trae Young with 18 shots and only 5 made?
Hey guys,
Shots.
listen to me. This podcast is about to end. I don't know. Never say never. This might never say never. We may never have an episode that's this long. We had a lot of things to talk about and things to get through. This will be amazing. I actually will start editing this podcast now because I need to drop some clips before the game starts tomorrow. I think it's very important that at least we have about 1 or 2 clips regarding the series that are coming tomorrow.
Very fun.
But yeah, this was great. This was amazing. One of the
Very
things,
fun.
100%.
one of the things I was going to say was,
Once
this
we
is
get
going to be an
past-
amazing
once we get out
playoffs,
the
man.
draft-
I just think this is
Yes, I
going to
agree.
I'm very excited.
legacy
It needs to be
defining.
good.
Yes, okay, so you're right. No. The
Yeah.
OKC, we need to watch out for the
Watch out for
OKC,
my
you're
OKC
right.
Thunder.
Nope.
OKC
Nope.
Thunder needs to watch out.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
My Mavs,
Nope.
they better hope
Nope.
they don't see my
Nope.
Mavs in 8. They
Nope.
better hope the Grizzlies win today because we're going to show them something if we face them.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was going to say
preview,
was,
honestly,
did you guys see the Luka clip with Malika Andrews today? And all?
I think I read a quote or something.
I never knew, but just finding out that Nico Harrison never even spoke to him. Like, never spoke to
That's
him
not surprising, to be
Everything
honest.
about the trade and like
I'm
never
not
even
surprised at all.
never announced the trade to him and everything. So I was going to say there's something, and obviously this is just a gut feeling. There's no like clarity of this. I feel there was something about the game against the Mavs that exercise certain demons that whatever Luka was having and carried, and and I feel you could see his efficiency go up. You could see his driving to the rim. That was one of the big things we spoke about. I spoke about like on Twitter, where I was really having problems. Like he was not driving to the rim. He was just taking a lot of jumpers. And I know it's part of injury, him being healthy and everything. But my belief is there's something about that Mavs game. I don't know what it did to him, but there are two things for me. I think if there was anything that could sell, if you could ever sell yourself to the public, especially NBA mid public, where a lot of fans have been complaining about how players don't care, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. I think there was never any time that something could sell themselves. Someone could sell mistakenly, like he didn't plan it, but could sell themselves to like a general public. I saw some like the general public more than what Luka did in that. What happened in that game, and the fact that, bro, at some point I was like, this nigga is not going to get more than 10 points, bro. Like I was like, this no, I was like, this dude is bawling his eyes out, and you go out there and do that. And I feel there's something about that as that has exercised certain feelings for him that I just feel, bro, going from now on, this was already one of the greatest players' performances we ever had. I can't wait to see what these players for him are and beyond in his career. And I feel that day did something to his career, and I don't know what it is yet. We're going to see what it is in future and all, but I just feel.
I think I think it was good closure. I think it was good catharsis, like really getting out any unwanted. It was a good like one last meeting between an ex, like just everything, and now it's completely move on, new in the future, and I think that
use the pain, change the weaknesses that he has weaknesses, like that's what it is, like he has weaknesses that he has to fix and work on and all this type of thing. But I feel this was just
the whole trade is kind of like a wake up call to like, it was great, but you can always be better.
You can always be better.
So
Daye, last talk on anything. This doesn't have to be Luka thing, but anything you want to talk.
I'd have said RJ Barrett quickly, like 300 picks.
You know what?
Like,
Elias would have given the Mavs the Scotiabank Arena if you could get that. We trade everything.
Bro, I would have flown to Toronto and then got a rental car and drove all the way to Dallas. I would do it, bro.
No, I think one of the crazy things about this is how it's so crazy and it's insane. And this is the part where for people they can't believe it. It's like, how were we just in a point? How were we just in a point where the Lakers were just about to be like dead for years? And
it's really crazy, bro.
And they just got that. It's like a lifeline. It's like, hey, like, wow. It's gonna be a great playoffs. We're gonna be back here. We're gonna figure out the 2 days we want to work on. That's something we're gonna text about. But it's been a long episode. We're gonna cut these clips and post them. But anyway, so much love, Daye, for coming on. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
We're as the series gets lower and people go home and stuff like that, we have more time to like deep dive on these teams and everything.
For sure.
And anyway, boys, if that's it, have a great night. Love.